Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all doing well. Today we are back with another Domination Mode tournament, and we are going to be in the top four as we usually are. So as far as the bracket goes, the first best of three of the day is going to be Ulrich facing off against Rigson, and then we have Outerregion against an opponent that has yet to be determined. So we'll take a look at the brackets and show you the tail of the tape, and we can go from there, but we'll wait for some more folks to jump in before we do that. So for the first match, it looks like we do actually have a pick and ban going down. Well, no bans, I suppose, with this new format we're doing, but Rigson does pick, okay, let's see, Ogres and Corn for his two factions. Okay, so those are going to be his first two picks. Now, his opponent, Ulrich, will do essentially a counter pick for those two factions, and they will pick from there. How's everyone doing? Welcome, welcome. I know, I had a lot of fun with the Dawn of War stream. I really did. I see some of you guys in chat talking about that. I will be streaming Dawn of War 2 again tomorrow, so there'll be something going down, like team games, 2v2s, free-for-alls, 1v1s, all that sort of good stuff. Yeah, it was an absolute blast, and it really kind of brings me back, or inspires me to play tabletop as well. Like, when I started playing Dawn of War 2 again, I started painting up my Black Legion army. It's super fun. Hammond, thank you with that mummy. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for the donation. Appreciate the $2. Hopefully you're ready for a party. It's going to be good. Some heavyweights, and we can also take a look at the leaderboard on the site and see if there's any change in pace. Any new challengers arising to make it here all the way up to the top of the leaderboard. And yes, the Dread Mullet is here. Although I don't have a mullet right now, but close enough, close enough. All right, so this is today's tournament. It's the Wild Wednesday Domination Mode tournament. We had over 50 people sign up today, which I was quite surprised about. And here you can see the top four. We have Rigson versus Ulrich here on the top, and on the bottom we have Outerregion, who's going to be facing the winner of the Platypus and Romulan Dog. So these two individuals are playing right now to see who's going to be getting to the next stage. Some pretty big defeats today as well. We had Platypus actually take out Voidlaws, who is the number 1 ranked player on our leaderboard, and I believe our number 2 ranked player is Evenstar, and Evenstar was actually taken out by Calimbro, who is now was defeated by Rigson. So it's really cool to see like a very healthy meta where it's not, the same folks dominating over and over. There's a lot of new people coming in and challenging and taking down these heavyweight players, which is great. I think it's good. So now, my friends, this is the leaderboard. Voidlaws, of course, still will be our number 1 player. He does have the most wins with a very solid 80% win rate. Evenstar holding on to the number 2 spot, but that could be taken today by Ulrich. So if Ulrich were to win at this match and then the grand finals, he would actually be pulling in to the number 2 spot on the leaderboard, threatening Voidlaws at the number 1 position. As far as other opportunities go, if Rigson is able to win the tournament today as well, he would be taking over the number 3 spot. Platypus would as well be taking over the number 3 spot. So there's going to be a lot of folks contending for the top 3 spots here on the leaderboard, which is very, very exciting. And another tournament on Friday, by the way. So for anybody who is interested in playing in some Domination Mode tournaments that, I'm not going to be casting. I'm going to be playing in this one most likely. But on Friday night, there is a North American Domination Mode tournament going on. It is hosted by, I believe, Houseplant, who is a veteran of many of these tournaments, and you can find the details on TotalTavern.com, and you can go sign up. It's hosted off the website on Challenge, but there's a link to all that here, so you guys should be able to find that, no problem. Yeah, there you go. That is the current leaderboard, and we are now going to be jumping into the match here in just a second, so let me switch on over, and let's have some fun. Thanks again for the support as well, Hammond. Greatly appreciate it. And it looks like it's going to be Corn versus Ogre Kingdoms in the first matchup. Death's Pass is the map, which is a really good map for shooting factions. You still don't see them a whole lot, but really this is a really incredible map for like cannons because they can sit in the middle. They can shoot at the middle objective. It can also hit the side, which is very, very good. Yeah, Brian, I did figure out how to rehotkey everything. Like, I think from the stream you guys saw me playing Dawn of War, I have like massively improved in the past couple days. I've been playing a lot of games, 1v1s versus, veterans and just getting beaten down over and over. And I've been starting to get a couple wins as well against good players. So yeah, I've gotten quite a bit better at Dawn of War. I still only know how to play Chaos though. Chaos is the only one I really have decent control over. I'm still like a low quality player to say the least, but I can at least not just get steamrolled instantly. Yeah. I don't know if Houseplant's going to be streaming it. I'm not sure, but nonetheless, you can sign up for the tournament and go from there. Yeah. So anybody who is a tournament host in the community, if you guys want me to throw up your tournament on the website, you just have to hit me up. Let me know. We can do that. And hopefully it'll help people find their way to the events and all that sort of good stuff. Yes, Voidlaws was defeated earlier. Yeah. A lot of crazy upsets today. I mean, the number 1 and 2 ranked players on our leaderboard for the tournament leaderboard were defeated in the earlier rounds today. Pretty crazy stuff. Yeah, pretty crazy. Have I been practicing my Imperial Guard? No. I think, Eledron, after that trauma of you making me play Imperial Guard and just getting steamrolled so badly, I think I need a couple weeks to recover from that ego punishment I had. That was just straight up brutal. Oh my god. Guard is not my playstyle. I need like tankier factions. Yeah, I like to play like tanks. Like the Chaos Lord, and I like to use the Death Guard Lord to make him a little bit tankier with some of the armor options. Yeah, it was that was very rough, that Imperial Guard game. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. It is going to be a match between Rigson and Ulrich Rahl. Ulrich Rahl coming in with the Ogre Kingdoms and really just going for straight efficiency. Man-Eater pistols are insanely good at melee and also very good at shooting, so they can shoot the very slow Khorne infantry and the halberds and all that sort of good stuff. So it is going to be Man-Eater pistols, 3 of those with an Iron Blaster in the starting army, and I believe the Lord is going to be a Slaughtermaster, which is pretty standard. Oftentimes you're just going to be going for the healing ability on Troll Guts. Damn boy, he thick. And we do also have the Bone Crusher as well. So that is that, and the extra ingredients. Now, taking a look here at the Khornate army, it is going to be a bunch of Khorne dogs. So we have 3 Khorne dogs, obviously a very solid unit, incredibly good against most Ogre units. Probably just not good against like Iron Guts and some of the big armored boys, but yeah, everything else they can certainly put some big damage in. We do also have 2 Cultists of Khorne, as well as a Herald on foot, going for a little bit of a small target, a very cheap target as well. Compared to the Greater Demons or a Blood Crusher mount, this guy is very low cost, which is going to be allowing you to go quite a bit wider. And last but not least for the Khorne army, we do have a couple Chaos Furies. Now it is going to be Rigson here on the forces of Khorne, and Ulrich Rahl, who I believe has made it to the Grand Finals, like the top 4 of like every tournament we've hosted, and he's just barely fallen short of winning these events. So really quite eager to see if Ulrich Rahl can get there and get the job done. Now, the Iron Blaster, shooting down at the old Chaos Furies, getting a little bit of damage on them, sundering what little armor they have, which I think is like, what, like 15 or something? Yeah, it's very low, it's like 20. So able to sunder their armor and kind of get them slowed down a little bit. And yes, Brian, this is Domination mode. We're going to be having a land battle tournament most likely on Friday or sometime in the next few days. I'm not sure, like Friday morning. But we do bounce back and forth between those 2 units, or formats, I should say. Ogre Bulls moving out. Obviously, they're just going to go sit on objective number 2. Khorne looking to do like a delayed Alpha Strike of sorts. They're kind of posturing up in the hills, which is smart because his opponent has a ton of shooting, right? The triple Man-Eater pistol, you don't want to engage against those early. Really, I think if you're Khorne and your opponent's playing like a defensive shooting faction, what you want to do is wait till the objectives open up and then pressure your opponent, because then at least you're being rewarded for pushing them back. Even if you're losing the fight, you are holding the objectives a little bit longer, which I think is very prudent. Now, Chaos Fury is going to be circling about. We get more Ogre Bulls with dual weapons coming in this time, so a little bit of a different variant, but they are good against Furies. Ogre Bulls can actually, with the dual weapons, do very well against Furies because Furies are infantry-sized units. Therefore, they do take that bonus from the Ogre Bulls. Hey, appreciate that, Brian. Really appreciate it. Carrot says, it's exciting to see the new leaderboard filling up with stats and victors. Nice job building the site. Hey, appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's going to be great, and it's only going to get better, too. We're going to add a ton of fun features on the website. Eventually, we're going to be adding probably like a Swiss League type format where it feeds into the leaderboard as well. So for those of you guys who can't make these longer tournaments, you can still play once a week and get that tournament experience and repetitions, which is going to be good. So Fury's committing. Pretty big damage value here for the Chungus Kingdoms, already ripping a ton of shots into those Chaos Furies and almost bringing them down. What else is Khorne summoning in? So we get some shielded Khorne warriors who are going to move up on that middle objective. Khorne's certainly getting aggressive very early, and we are going to be getting the first Bloodletters coming in from Rigson on top of the Man-Eater pistols. And yeah, 1 unit of Fury is already down. Certainly quite painful. In the back, we get Furies diving in, but they're just going to get crumped super badly. Ogre Bulls will just give them the beatdown. And yeah, Furies hit very hard. Have like 48 weapon strength or something like that, but it's not going to be enough. And here comes the big Khorne Dog flank. A lot of Khorne Dogs moving in. Going to be trying to force the Ogres to eat some carnival food as they do swarm on top of these Ogre Bulls and the Man-Eater pistols. And you see, this is why I think Khorne should have delayed their engagement. Like, yeah, they're getting good pressure, but they've already blown their payload of the double Bloodletter summon. And like, had this been when the objectives opened up, he could have like grabbed both objectives and been up by like 800 points by now. But instead, he's value trading with the Ogres. Maybe it'll pay off. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I just see this being a little bit tricky. Ogre Power Fist going down on the Flesh Eaters here, or the Fleshhounds of Khorne, and it does next to no damage because of their 50% spell resist and also the fact that their models are a little bit, non-infantry. And 1 unit of Fury's kind of circling about. Bloodletter's doing good, though, cutting through some of the Ogre Bulls and certainly chomping at the bit to get into the back line. Objectives will be opening up in a couple seconds. I really think Khorne has to play the objective game super hard because beating Ogres in raw conflict is very tough. It looks good for Khorne now, but that's because of the summons, right? So when the summons disappear, the Khorne army is suddenly going to be super thin. You're not going to be having that infantry buffering. Your Fleshhounds of Khorne are going to be kind of stuck there fighting the fight. The shielded Khornate warriors are moving across the objective. It looks like maybe they're coming in to join the fight. It's a little bit hard to say. One unit of Khorne dogs here extending very, very deep into the Ogre territory. And I have to say, Rigson is doing a very good job actually keeping a relatively equal value. Yeah, BF Flyer, there's a little bit of echo simply because I'm casting in a giant wooden room and I've done my best to soundproof it, but we moved into a new house and it's just like almost impossible. So there's always going to be a little bit. There's always going to be a little bit, but my apologies there. So we do have the dog-on-dog action down here. Fleshhounds and Saber-tucks going fisticuffs. I guess they're the cats technically, but looks like the cats outnumber the dogs and will be winning that fight. Man-eater pistols have secured the high ground and Rigson really not going for the objectives at all, but rather using his little goon squad here on foot. The Cultists of Khorne plus the Herald and just kind of slow pushing through many of these Ogre positions. We do get some Chaos Warriors moving over to objective number 1 here, and the middle objective has been taken by Khorne. So I do think if they delayed and had taken the objectives at a little bit more of a delayed time, they would be ahead by enough points to maybe like try and pull off an objective victory. But already by fighting in your opponent's deployment zone like this, you're giving them a huge advantage because Ogres get reinforcements here like instantly, whereas Khorne, you know, with their 28 speed on the infantry, which are one of the more cost-effective choices here, these guys have to move across the battlefield, and it takes them like 10 years to get here. And these Khorne warriors going to be moving on to 1. The forces of Khorne are getting some good points, and the Ogres have yet to capture any objectives. Furies up on this side, coming in from the Vanguard point here, were able to land and temporarily shut down the Man-Eater pistols, but these guys are going to pull back right now. But man, oh man, I can tell you from experience as a Khorne player, it is incredibly tough to actually shut down these Man-Eater Ogre boys. Here they come, turning around. Khorne grinding very well, though. The characters are just MVPs. The Heralds of Khorne, the Cultists doing very good, and the Shielded Khornate Warriors are also quite strong, especially against the Man-Eater composition. Maybe just spamming out like Shielded Khorne Warriors to mitigate the value of some of these Man-Eater pistols could be really good. Khorne is only up by 280 points right now. Really not going to be a terribly substantial lead. Ogres are getting more and more reinforcements. Their Iron Blaster is sitting in good shape, and now it's shooting at the Herald here. And this Herald's going to be in huge danger. Hey, thank you so much for the donation, Ziggy. I'm digging the Warhammer 3 content. Thanks for covering land battles and domination. Buff Sky Lanterns. I agree, and hopefully Sky Lanterns will get buffed. And Rain, thank you for the 200 and okay. Congrats on the new house. We're just renting it, but thank you. And money for the money, God. Greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much. And we're going. Khorne moving up. They got Halberds pushing into the Ogre zone. A little bit of a precarious play for sure. I think sitting the Halberds back here might be slightly more cost effective because now the Ogres are just going to cackle all the way to the Great Maw, and they are going to sit right here and just sit on top of that victory location and grab it back. Khorne still scrapping in terms of value, but looking very thin on resources here in the backfield. The Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw kind of getting his butt kicked by the Herald of Khorne. He's rocking 105 melee attack, very casual, right? That's just a massive amount of melee attack and pushing back the Slaughtermaster. Cultists of Khorne on the way as well, and the Iron Blaster is forced to run back as the Ogres and the Man-Eater pistols just kind of take up a defensive posture in the back line. But Khorne is like still putting really good pressure on these guys for sure. They do have the 2 objective. I mean, if Khorne could keep the fighting going back here long enough to the point where they could maybe get like a single cap victory and they can just helm deep on that with Halberds maybe. But look at this, the Slaughtermaster is actually getting taken out by the Herald of Khorne as well as the Cultists. This could be a huge play for Khorne and help them get back in the game. The Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw is broken, but now the Dirty Gorgers are here, but there are Halberds nearby. Halberds plus these supporting elements here should put up a decent fight against the Gorgers, but Saber-tusks coming in the back, Gnoblars as well to buffer some of those attacks. I think that this Khorne Vanguard position is probably going to be getting karate chopped here, as Gnoblars do move up onto the middle objective and take that down. Khorne is behind by about 2,000 value. When the melee fighting started, they were down by about 700 or 800, so the gap has split a little bit, but Khorne is still, you know, controlling 2 of the objectives, but not for long. And again, a little bit of a mistake letting this middle objective go. That is giving the Ogres a much-needed reprieve from the objective game there. So Chaos Fury is going to be attacking in, temporarily shutting down some of these bad boys. And the Slaughtermaster did actually rally due to the Gorger summon, and this bad boy is going to be getting the Troll Guts on him. So he is healed up, and he is sitting very, very good here. Halberds get broken up. Gorgers obviously took quite a bit of damage in the process. Now, had that just been Gorgers and like some Saber-tusks, the Halberds and the Khorne characters probably would have won that. But the fact that there were some Gnoblars in there really did help buffer that out, because the Gnoblars ate a ton of those Halberd attacks, which were obviously would be very good against the Gorgers. Now, Khorne moving up into the middle objective. Khorne Dogs screaming through. Going to be finding some freebies here. Khorne Dogs will absolutely massacre these Ogre Bulls. Going to be a very, very one-sided fight. as the Ogre Bull's going to be losing models very, very rapidly. Corn Dogs are surprisingly tanky here. And, yeah, there goes the Ogre Bulls as the Cornate Warriors do move up to push the Noblars off. And we do have a back cap going down. Okay, this is a really good play by the Ogres, or excuse me, by Corn. Knowing that they're slowly starting to lose the battle in the backfield and they still have some staying power back there, just start Helms Deeping on the objectives and really, really just get your money's worth on those and try and hope that you can get ahead far enough that you can get the job done. This is some excellent play by Ulrich, though. Oh my god, this is so good. This is like masterclass right here. So he's basically running the Noblars off the objective and keeping the other ones on the other side. So two very like quick, speedy Goblin-type units are actually excellent at holding objectives because this slow unit like Chaos Warriors can't catch them and push them off. What a meme. Man, so if you guys are watching this right now and you want to be a better domination player, really take notes of what he's doing with these Noblars. Because now what the Corn Warriors are going to do is they're going to move back after these Noblars, which will run back this way, and then the other ones are going to come back on the objective. That is like masterclass domination mode play. You see that a lot in other like objective-based games, but in this case in Total War, this is obviously a very new element for many players, and something to really, really take note of here. Now, Corn is down by about 2,600 value. The Halberds here are going to be able to push off these Noblars here. Corn really needs to get these objectives. Sending the Corn Dogs back here to go after the Ogre position, I think, was a big mistake. I think using the Corn Dogs to secure the middle objective could have been very strong. Ogres do have the 2 cap right now, and looks like some spawn are on their way over, but look at the Noblars. Oh my god, He's playing so well with that. That is such a strong play. And like, for example, when the Old World inevitably gets added back in, if you're playing Greenskins, if you're playing Skaven, you're playing Bretonnia with like peasants, doing this kind of a tactic by moving back and forth with these like speedy, cheap units is going to be really, really strong for controlling the objectives here. Now, it looks like there's some sort of a spell going down here. Corn Dog's getting a little bit of a nice nibble, keeping the Gorgers at bay, also doing good damage against the Slaughtermaster. Really not a terrible trade for those bad boys. But now Corn basically just has to try and get the objectives, and I think they're struggling back here as well. Yeah, look at this. Oh my god, the Noblars are so trolly. And now these Chaos Warriors, Rigson needs to match his micro here and move back onto the objectives. The Noblars, look at it. Oh, they're drifting past. The Noblars are going to be circling around the Chaos Warriors to get back on the objective. Oh my god, that's so annoying, dude. I love it. And yeah, these Chaos Warriors still haven't gotten this objective. Spawn of Corn are a pretty good choice against Ogres in general, but the Ogres still have their, they still have the Iron Blaster. Their Man-Eaters are not healthy, but still numerous. They have 10 models right here. We have 13 right here, as well as another, I think, full rack right here. Yeah, 16. And look at the Noblar trolling. Oh my god, that is so brutal. And now we got Noblar Trappers on here. There's literally zero chance that these Corn Warriors are going to get this objective. Like, you need some Corn Dogs. Corn Dogs would chase these Goblins off in like 2 seconds. And the other Halberds over here are trying to chase off these Noblars, but oh my god, this is so, I can feel the frustration that Rigson must be feeling right now. And look at this. This is how you deal with it. Just get a Corn Dog, come in, break them in like 1 second, because they're just a complete chaff, right? So you get in there and you feast on those guys. Chaos Warriors with Halberds will be able to chase off the Trappers most likely, and in the middle, the Spawn doing good, holding back several Ogre units. But still, we need some Corn Dogs. We need some mobility to get over here and shut these guys down. It looks like it's going to be another Halberd unit. Maybe going for the back objective? Interesting. So we see the pathing from Rigson. He's going to be sending those guys back to the far side of the battlefield. And now the Corn Dogs should be jumping on the Noblars here, I would imagine. Although, man, the Man-Eater Pistol Legion is on their way. And those guys are very good in combat, too. They can probably defeat the Corn Dogs pretty well. I mean, they'll take some casualties in the process, but many of these Corn Dogs are getting Last Samurai'd by the combined firepower of all these Man-Eaters. But now the Corn Dogs have gotten in there, and we will see. So Chaos Warriors here having a pretty terrible time. Iron Blaster's still alive, and Corn has dropped the lead in terms of value for the first time of the game. Ogre is really taking over. I mean, you know, a massive portion of the battle was fought in the deployment zone for the Ogre Kingdoms, which is a very viable tactic if you're controlling the objectives. You need to really make sure you're doing that, because if you're stuffing somebody by sacrificing your value in their deployment zone, you can still win games by holding the objective points. But I think that Rigson maybe was a little bit... he did it a little bit, like, I really liked his tactics. I think he needed to wait a little bit, wait for the objectives to open up before he begins stuffing the Ogre Kingdoms, because then he would be up right now by probably like 1,000 to 1,500 points and would have a chance of winning by just falling back to one objective. And yeah, really masterful play from both players. I think it was a really good showcase of like Corn trying to pressure Ogres while winning on objectives, but just didn't quite pull it off. And also seeing that Ulrich was able to just cackle and look at this poor Corn Warrior here, just being pulled apart by the Noblars and then blasted into the Shadow Realm by the Iron Blaster right there. And yeah, Ogre is probably going to be securing this back objective. I mean, there are some Cornate Halberds here, but they still haven't gotten it. They did get the objective, and I think there's more Corn Warriors moving up here. Rigson's still scrapping pretty hard. The back objective should be safe. He's got some Corn Warriors just kind of chilling on vacation right there. They're the most peaceful pacifist of all of Corn's mighty champions. But good capture weight here. And that's the thing, you don't always have to engage to out-capture somebody, right? Using the Noblar Trappers to poke these Chaos Warriors here, pulling the Ogre Bulls back and just juking around. And now Ulrich is going to be bringing in the Noblars from the other side. Dude, he is just playing like an absolute nightmare here with his objective capturing. It is really, really good. Now, obviously, Ogres are, extremely strong, much stronger than Khorne in terms of the units they have and what they can bring to the table. But we have seen Khorne defeat Ogre Kingdoms in domination tournaments, and it is very, very possible for sure. But I mean, yeah, Ogres easily have a 60-40 in this matchup, if not maybe like more, even like a 70-30, I would say. Man-Eater Pistols, Gorgers, Iron Blasters, all very, very devastating units. But really, the tail of the tape in this game has been the excellent objective play from the Noblars. Like, a lesser player would have lost these two objectives and could perhaps be down by like 1,000 right now, giving Rigson the opportunity to Helm's Deep on objective number 1 and try and win that in that way. But obviously he was able to use a couple very cheap units to outmaneuver the enemy forces and was able to cackle there. So there they go. Iron Blaster shot going down into the Coordinate Warriors, sitting on the back objective. It is about to run out of ammo. I'm curious about the value. I would guess over 2,000 for sure, if not more. 1,800. So yeah, it certainly paid for itself. They are very, very cost effective, and I'm sure will be nerfed in one of the upcoming patches. So Chaos Warriors moving in, and the back objective is taken by the Ogre Kingdoms. I don't think there's any chances here for Rigson anymore. If I were him, I'd probably concede and get on to the next game, but maybe he's got some big scheme. Okay, I like this scrap. He's going for like a cultist halberd push with some corn dog support. Maybe he would be able to kind of liberate the side objective from the Ogres. We'll have to see. Halberds on their way up. Khorne, definitely on the back rope. I mean, right now, Khorne is behind by almost 5,000 value, and there is the come from behind mechanic, but the thing is, the score is pretty close, and it's not based on the value, it's based on the objectives. So you're going to be getting bonus resources if you're like very behind your opponent, but in this case, like Khorne isn't that far behind the Ogre, so they're not going to be getting any reinforcement business. Hey, Okoye, how you doing, man? Dude, Okoye, I love that meme you posted today of the Elden Ring thing with the wherever. That made me laugh pretty hard, man. Thank you, thank you. So Halberds move it up onto this objective. I mean, they could certainly wrestle it from these guys eventually, especially with the cultists helping out. Khorne going to be pushing up here while the Ogres do move to the back objective with some Noblars and some Ogre Bulls. These Coordinate Warriors just kind of sitting and eating the shots of the Iron Blaster. I mean, Ogres are probably more or less out of ammo in most of their units, but like those units really, really have paid for themselves there. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So here comes the Chaos Warriors surging down to the low ground. Rigson fighting to the bitter end here as the Halberds do move down and prepare to engage against the Noblars. Very cool looking units. Khorne Warriors are so rad looking. I hope when the old world comes back, the Khorne Warriors like look exactly like this. That would just be so rad. Although I have to say, as somebody who plays Chaos on 40k, I'm incredibly sick of painting trim. Like that golden armor trim you're seeing is like every Chaos player's nightmare, is like buying a box of like Space Marines or Terminators or Chaos Space Marines and then like having to paint the gold trim on all those guys. It is just nightmare fuel for most of us. But Ogres are going to rotate over with plenty of units. Ogre Bulls, Saber Tusks, and despite like these units being good against Ogres, I think it's just a weight of numbers thing there. Iron Blaster was unsummoned and resummoned at this point, so that bad boy is back with full ammo. In the back objective, I mean, Khorne may be able to hold this, but I don't think there's any way. I'm surprised Rigson's staying in the game, actually. But maybe he thinks there's a little bit of a scrapping opportunity on the back objective, but he would have to triple cap the Ogres at this point. The Ogres are far enough ahead that it would have to be a triple cap. So I just don't see that happening on the middle objective. Halberds moving in. Should do quite well here as the Iron Blaster shoots into the Chaos Warrior Halberds. Oh, thank you, darling. Appreciate it. And the Noblars are down for the count. GG, well played there. Looks like it's going to be game 1 going to Ulrich. Some masterful Ogre play. And again, despite the fact that Ogres are pretty overpowered, he still played very well. And he had a lot of great plays that I would say won him the game. The little objective dances that he did were huge. Like, if he didn't do that, there would be like another 600 points for Khorne right now, if not more. Like, it could have been a Khorne game, to say the least. Yep. Ogres unbeatable, let's go, says Okoye. Yeah, I know you love your Ogres. So, Noblars here, getting feasted on by the Fleshhounds of Khorne. And down they go. Adorable little guys, but, you know, it's a consolation prize for the Fleshhounds. Though they lost the battle, at least they got a nice dinner here, as they do feast on some of the sacrificial lambs of the Ogre Kingdoms. And that is going to be that. Brian says, luckily we have our Death Guard to stop. No, you see, the thing is, though, Brian, is Death Guard have a ton of trim, too. If we're talking Chaos, like painting Death Guard models, they all have a ton of golden trim. Like, Chaos in general is pure suffering. I painted, like, a full Black Legion army and a full Death Guard army. And it's just, they look super cool. I think they look way better than, like, the Loyalist armies, but, like, they have a lot more labor going into the painting. All right. Like, and then I remember, like, painting, like, I painted an Orc Boy model, and I was like, oh my god, this is so easy. And then another one I painted recently was, like, an Intercessor, and it was just, like, it was, like, the easiest thing ever. Yeah. All right. So, taking a look at the Khorne army, I like the idea. stuff the ogres. But like he had the 2 summons, which I thought was really good, and the ogres were pins. If he had done that and captured like 2 objectives during that pinning, I think that Rigson could have won that game. I just think the execution in the beginning was a little bit off. He attacked too early. And for Ulrich, obviously, not much to say. Incredible micro with his Noblars and really, really good army selection. I mean, clearly this man knows what he's doing. So, next map is going to be the Eye in the north. And that's game 1. So now the gentlemen will do their next pick and next ban. And I believe we have an update pertaining to the bottom side of the bracket. So let's go ahead and refresh that and take a look. Thank you all for joining today. When the other factions get ported over, who do you think will be the best match into ogres? I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, I feel like dwarves might be okay. Like slayers and cannons, like sign me up for that. I do think vampire counts will hands down be the strongest faction. I think nobody will hold a candle to them. The ability to spam the summons, like just, they're just going to be so good. Like zombies for 100 gold, unbreakable, capturing objectives, like that's just insanity. It's insanity. So, looking at the bracket, we do have a result. So the Platypus has made it to the top 4 to face off against Outerregion here on the bottom. So Outerregion versus Platypus. And of course, we're on the top match right now, which is Rigson versus Ulrich Rahl. So we can go and make it official on the old 4-man bracket. Let's update it. And here we go. Platypus, of course, having won one of our first launch weekend tournaments. Of course, that was before the official website was up and going. But now Platypus is trying to get on the leaderboard here with a victory in the tournament. We'll see. Outerregion awaits. Outerregion, a classic Beastman player. Beastman will also be very cool in this for sure. You guys like the thumbnail? Yeah, Macho Man's always a win. He's always a keeper. Alrighty. So thanks for joining, everyone. It's been fun so far. And now we are on to the next match. And we'll see what the players are going to pick. You go for gold or silver trim on your Night Lords. So I only have 1 unit of Night Lords. I have a Night Lord Warp Talon squad. Yeah, so I run Black Legion as my primary army. Because the thing about like Black Legion that's really cool is they're kind of like, I love the lore of the Black Legion, number 1. But number 2, I really like the fact that they're kind of like the baseline chaos. And what I've found is when I go to play Black Legion in tournaments, as well as different leagues, I can pretty much say they're whatever I want. Because in the lore, Black Legion is like a combination of all the different legions, more or less, and warbands and things like that. So like I've gone to tournaments and like been like, oh yeah, I'm playing this Black Legion. I'm playing these guys as like Night Lords. I'm playing them as like, you know, Emperor's Children, and nobody ever cares, including the tournament admins. Whereas I've seen people show up to tournaments with like an Emperor's Children army, which is like painted in like the bright pink and like all those different colors. And then they're like, oh, I want to play this as a Black Legion army, or I want to play this as something else. And it's not quite as easily accepted. So that was one of the other reasons I like to play them, because I can just use them as whatever. But yeah, I have a really nicely painted Abaddon and yeah, Terminators, Possessed, all that good stuff. All that good stuff. Hey, how's it going, Based? Hope you're doing well. So Slaanesh is going to be the next pick, and Rigson is going to be on Ogre Kingdoms. Where on the Eye in the North, Slaanesh has been the counter pick against Ogre Kingdoms lately, which is kind of interesting. Very, very high skill for sure. You have to be really, really solid to pull it off, but it is possible. Yeah, it feels impossible to kill an Iron Blaster with Khorne unless you use like a big demon. I am a heretic. Yeah, I play Chaos in 40k. And the reason why I play Chaos is because I love the aesthetic. I think they look super heavy metal, which is one of my favorite things. But also, when I first started playing 40k, Space Marines were super overpowered, and I don't like playing overpowered factions that are like, you know, that are Daddy's favorite, Games Workshop's favorite, right? Like, I like to play the underdogs and the folks who are left in the shadows. So, yeah, that's partially why I play Chaos. I love the heavy metal look, like the spiky armor and like the grim dark and just like the brutal heavy metal. Like, yeah, it's very edgy and corny, but I love it. I love it. Big NACL says, unfortunately for me, something in my computer is giving you problems, so I can't play Total War Warhammer anymore. That's rough, man. Yeah. And I mean, hey, now's a good time to take a break anyways and wait for the patch as well as the addition of the old world factions. What do you think about Total War Warhammer 40k? I think it's going to happen 100%. Okay, maybe like 95%. I am like, I don't see any reason why Creative Assembly and Games Workshop wouldn't want to do that. And man, I've been having so much fun playing Dawn of War 2. If we actually had like a new like a major studio title in 40k, like that was an RTS style game, whether it be Total War, Dawn of War, like I would love that. Red Corsairs look really cool. They look really cool. I decided to play Black Legion after reading the Aaron Dembski Bowden books. I think he wrote them. Yeah, the Talent of Horus and that whole trilogy where it follows, I think his name's Iskandar Khayan. He's like a Thousand Sun sorcerer who joined the Black Legion and like works with Abaddon and like So yeah, it's a really, really good series. So after that, I decided to start playing Black Legion because like they really like give Abaddon like a cool aesthetic in that series. Like in some of the other earlier books, he's just not that cool, and obviously his earlier renditions. But his new rework has been pretty good, and his model is amazing. Yes, the summons. So Marius, to answer your question on why I think vampire counts are going to be super oppressive in this game mode, it's because many of the maps right now are choke points, right? Like lanes, which I think Creative Assembly is going to be adding more maps, like these like open field maps. But vampire counts can come in with a necromancer on a horse and a vampire lord on a hellsteed, and they can just drop zombie summons in the chokes that you get to the objective from, and they can just spam those like every like 15 seconds, right, or whatever. So vampire counts are just going to swarm the objectives, and they're just going to block you from getting on the objectives, I think. And their mobility is insane too. Blood Knights, like Vargulfs, Terrorgeists, like they bring a lot to the table for sure. Yeah, I thought about doing a Dawn of War campaign. Maybe I will. Yeah, the kind of the running joke with Abaddon was that he kind of failed all of his crusades, but they did retcon his lore so that he actually was like each crusade was accomplishing a small objective. And yeah, Abaddon definitely gets some work done. I mean, he takes out Cadia and also defeats who's that guy's name? Sigismund in combat. I mean, obviously I know Sigismund was like super old at that point, and but still, I mean, an achievement nonetheless. He's still a pretty inspiring leader for the forces of chaos. The Night Lord's trilogy is really good. I can tell you from experience, Abaddon is not harmless in tabletop. I've had Abaddon like basically solo Imperial Knights on his own because he has the mark of every Chaos God. So you can use the Khorne ability to make him fight twice and just absolutely dunk on any target. On top of that, he can make all nearby units unbreakable. So you can run like 1,000 cultists in front of him and they won't break to the firepower. It's really, really good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in game 2. It's going to be Rigson on the Ogre Kingdoms facing off against Ulrich on the forces of Slaanesh. For the army of the Ogres, it is going to be Scrag, which means that Gorgers are on the table. Iron Blasters is super good. There's a couple matchups you don't want to bring an Iron Blaster, maybe against like Cathay cannon spam, but in general, it's just like super strong. On top of that, we have a Giant as well. So Giant's coming in, and Giant against Slaanesh, interesting. Slaanesh does have a lot of cheap spears and a fair amount of anti-large. The Giant may be a bit of a liability, but we'll have to see. Even still, though, if the Giant is buffered by a bunch of these chaff units on the ground, it could be very, very good. And now looking over at the Hordes of Hell. Oh, did he unsummon something? No, he didn't. Okay, he's just moving around. He's coming in with a double Soul Grinder. So Soul Grinders are anti-large beaters, and they're really, really good at anti-large. They fight super hard. It's going to be a Herald of Slaanesh, and the reason why you bring Herald of Slaanesh is because the passive ability, the Blissful Rapture, is so good. It gives melee attack and leadership every single time you cast a spell to your entire army, which is crazy good. Crazy good. So yeah, that boy is ready to party. Marauder Spears, and on the backside we got more Soul Grinders and Hellstriders. I love that Ulrich is using the terrain to hide from the Iron Blaster, and this is like what you want to do against Ogres, right? You don't want to commit to fighting until you need to. So you just kind of pull back, you let the objectives open, and then you start fighting, because Ogres will often be a little bit more defensive with their Iron Blasters and their Man-Eaters, although honestly this Ogre army looks super aggressive. Like, they're moving up on that objective. They're looking to bring the Great Wah, although, what would the Ogres call it? Yeah. Adri's saying, I hope we're close to a balanced patch. Yeah, what would the Ogre's battle cry be? Like, for the Great Maw kind of thing? Yeah, do they actually have one? I don't know, I'd have to listen a little bit more carefully, but... Drunkest Kingdoms have moved up. Ogre Bulls with dual weapons ready to party, and Scrag the Slaughterer is here. And yeah, the Soul Grinder of Slaanesh and the Spear is going to be moving down to fight most likely. I can see a Fury summon being used by the Herald of Slaanesh to also maybe jump on top of the Iron Blaster. But Slaanesh is going to be taking that back objective for sure. I think they're moving something down there to capture it. Let's go ahead and check. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be some Hellstriders. I mean, Ulrich does have a lot of really, really powerful units over here. The Soul Grinder and some cavalry and things like that. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, obviously contesting this objective is a little bit dicey. I mean, the only advantage is that Slaanesh does have the quicker reinforcements, right? So they can move in and get these units here real quick, whereas Ogres have to waddle all the way across the map. So we're kind of seeing the tables be turned here, although Rigson seems to have a very, very aggressive playstyle. Yeah, meat, dinner time. Okay, dinner time. Yeah, probably just meat. Okay, for the Maw. I'm liking this. The Great Feast. Loud burping sounds. Yeah, this is all perfect. This is all perfect. So yeah, Soul Grinder just skulking in the shadows, which I love. Very, very chaos-like. But the objective's going to be opening up in about 1 minute here. Marauders of Slaanesh hanging out. And the Fury Summon is down. Nope, these are basic Furies. And they are going to be going after the Iron Blaster, which is kind of unprotected right now. But what's going to happen is, Rigson is simply going to be saving up 500 resources, and he will summon in a Saber Tusk, which I'd be really shocked if that didn't happen. I mean, that's got to be the choice. The Saber Tusks will tear apart Chaos Furies super well. Incredibly high DPS, and they can do some work. So it looks like Slaanesh is going to be taking advantage of its speed and maybe moving away from this back objective, kind of feeling as if that isn't really a good spot. Down here, Slaanesh gets a little bit of a freebie. They are able to find some Noblars, and these aren't like anti-infantry cav. These are the anti-large variant, but Noblars are still very weak, and the fact that there's a Soul Grinder there, which does cause terror, is going to probably push off those Noblars and lead to them getting routed. And just like the prophetic old man here guessed, there is going to be some Saber Tusks summoned to shut down the Chaos Furies, but the fact that Ulrich did not commit those Chaos Furies there is a really, really good play, because now he baits out a summon, which might not necessarily be the most effective use right here, right? Now they're going to be jumping in, very curious. Okay, is it because the Soul Grinder's nearby, or because, oh, and the dreaded Slaaneshi Sandwich is coming, Hellstriders as well as the Soul Grinder coming back here for the Iron Blaster, and we do also get the other Soul Grinder moving back here. I really like this. Going for value trades against the Ogres. Ogres are super blobbed here, just going for what you can to the backfield. I think this is great. Taking advantage of how quick Slaanesh is. Now the middle objective may be going to be threatened, but the old Iron Blaster could be in big danger here. Saber Tusks, of course, doing pretty well. Hellstriders moving in, and the double Soul Grinder is now here. Very nice flank there by Ulrich Rahl. And the Soul Grinder is going to be jumping on top of the Iron Blaster for sure, I would imagine. They get a little bit of work in. More Furies moving in. Ogres are pulling back from all directions, and the Herald of Slaanesh going to be going maybe to push those Noblars off the back objective. It's a little bit hard to say. Ogres are going to be having a slight advantage in terms of the objectives for sure. Chaos Furies jumping in the back on top of the Noblar Trappers. Yeah, Ogre Bull summon, though, to duel those guys. Should be a pretty cost-effective little fight. And the Iron Blaster is getting beaten up. Man, this is really, really impressive play from both players here. Very, very fun stuff. But Ogres do have two objectives. They have 2 and they have 3. It looks like Slaanesh will be able to wrestle the back objective, and let's find out if Slaanesh is going to get its value back here. I mean, the Ogres do have the reinforcement advantage. They're going to be able to summon in units pretty quickly to mitigate the pressure of Slaanesh here, and it seems that the 2 Soul Grinders have gotten the Iron Blaster very, very low. It's at about 50%, give or take, and it is getting worn down. Let's see if those guys are actually getting their attack animations off. It looks like they are, yeah, so they're pouring in, getting some work in, and the Saber Tusks also get broken as well, including the Soporific Musk. Yeah, very, very nice, lowering their stats. Yeah, Soul Grinder is kind of holding the Ogres at bay. The Marauder Spear is going to be moving on to that objective. And is Slaanesh going to be trying something funny here? It doesn't look like it. There's a giant, angry giant of the Ogre Kingdoms here, so that's not going to make it easy at all to get that objective down. Although some anti-large Hellstriders are going to move in, although Noblars will give some really, really good buffering against those guys there. Hey, Rubber Duck, how you doing, man? Hope you're doing good. So the Iron Blaster is broken. It's pushed back by the double Soul Grinder of Slaanesh. Now the question is it going to rally and just blast him to the Shadow Realm? Most likely so. I don't know if Slaanesh has any elements around here who can actually jump on top of the Iron Blaster. In the backfield, we do get the Cav, so the Hellstrider is able to push back the Noblars, and the Marauder Spears of Slaanesh should be able to secure that objective for the Dark Prince. Ogres are pulling up here. Oh no, not like this. The Soul Grinders need to get back now, because they're just going to get Shadow Realmed right here. Yeah, there needs to be something on top of this Iron Blaster, and this is the huge, huge danger of extending into your opponent's deployment zone. And this could potentially be where Slaanesh loses the game. The Soul Grinders are massively expensive pieces of equipment. They cost, what, 1,900 gold a piece? And if they're just going to get karate chopped by this Iron Blaster here, Narcissism was used. Okay, interesting. And then the Hellstriders coming in, the Rohirrim, they arrive, and they do get a nice rear charge into the back of the Iron Blaster. It's taking big damage from those anti-large attacks, and the Soul Grinders appear to be given a second life as the Iron Blaster's ambushed. I didn't see that coming, which is super hilarious, and they do get that nice jump there. Now, Slaanesh looks like it's going to be going for the old Slaaneshi Sandwich here, so the Marauder Spears will have a very cost-effective fight versus all these units, and these are going to be Hellstriders, so more anti-large, going to be surrounding the Ogre army, and I think that Slaanesh will be able to take this objective. Oh my god, look at this, dude. Yeah, so the Iron Blaster is probably going to break here. It's at 3 leadership. Sorry, guys. Had to hydrate a little bit. I don't know why my voice is kind of dry today. I guess it's just one of those days. The Herald of Slaanesh chases down the old Iron Blaster. It's at 6 leadership, 1,400 HP. The 2 Soul Grinders have just been grinding the souls all day, man. Just sitting here and cackling and just breaking through these Ogre units. And now we see Slaanesh actually really start to bring the value back, and they're probably going to be accruing even better value right here, right? Where did those anti-large Cav go? Okay, they're up in the hills. Ulrich will probably pull them in a second, I would imagine. And here comes more Cav. Yep, it's going to be more anti-large Cav, just obviously very efficient against Ogre Kingdoms. Slaanesh, though, able to get that Iron Blaster most likely off the battlefield, so there it goes. Farewell, sweet Iron Blaster. Nobody will miss you, and yeah, be happy not to have to see that from again. Soul Grinders of Slaanesh, trading super well. The dreaded Slaaneshi spawn camp, although as soon as Ogres are able to spawn some Gorgers, these Soul Grinders could be in a little bit of trouble. Down here, Slaanesh does have this objective, but it looks like the Chungus Kingdoms are going to get it back. Scrag did waddle down there with his pot, and we do see the first of 2 potential Gorgers brought back into the battlefield here, so those guys will be in play. And the dynamic of this game certainly going to be changing quite a bit. Soul Grinder probably going to move down, maybe get a rear charge here, try and break these Ogre Bulls with dual weapons. And the Iron Blaster is actually killed outright, while the other Soul Grinder just continues to fight in the back, keeping these Noblars at bay. The mighty Noblar horde is being kept in check. But guys, Ogres do have a triple cap right now, I think. Yeah, it looks like they have a triple cap. Very, very brutal stuff. And like, unseating Gorgers is very tough. The battle value is even. Slaanesh does have the mobility advantage, so they can choose their engagements. And also there is an opportunity for this Giant to go down. The Giant is, you know, what, a 1,500 gold piece? And oh no, Ulrich has forgotten. The tactical reserves are here. He needs to get those in. Those Hellstriders need to just rear charge here. That would just be so devastating. But this is like 1,500 value right here that's going to be going to Slaanesh, which will give them a pretty substantial lead for sure. And Ulrich is just kind of cleaning up shop up top. Using his Cab and his Hellstriders and the Soul Grinder, pretty much anything the Ogre summon in here, he's just like hammering. But the Ogres are able to slip past the Slaaneshi blockade, and Gorgers are going to be sprinting over to the side objective, which I think might be a mistake. I feel like Slaanesh is a little bit too entrenched here. I think sending the Gorgers down to objective 2 would probably be the play. If I were the Ogre Kingdoms, I'd probably play on 1 and 2. Now at this point, there is going to be, let's see, so yeah, Ogres are not getting any bonus resources. Slaanesh at this point is probably getting like 20 supplies per second, whereas the Ogre Kingdoms are getting about 16. Unfortunately, in replays, you can't see both. It would be really nice if there was like a drop down that showed me all that. CA, if you're listening, it'd be a really nice touch. But the Giant still grinding here. Slaanesh able to get the objective using their spears and infantry capture weight. And this Giant will probably go down eventually. There's plenty of anti-large here, but the Gorgers are on their way over. Gorgers will be a pain for sure. And Slaanesh is trying to move through the middle, and it looks like they're having relatively good success for sure. The Soul Grinder appears to just be a huge MVP. I love how they have sonic attacks, very similar to like the Noise Marines and in old Dawn of War, as well as the, well, in Tabletop too. I do have a squad of Noise Marines as well. But the Ogres obviously doing very well on objectives, but Slaanesh has overtaken the value. They're using their mobility to pick these really solid engagements, and I mean, they have the proper counter against the Gorgers here, right? They have the Hellstriders, they have the Marauder Spears, a ton of nice poking damage. No money being wasted on armor piercing against the Gorgers. It's just pure efficiency. And you can see the Gorgers are being dragged down here. The Giant still going strong. Capture weight actually a little bit for the Ogres, but I could see this game being turned into like a reverse triple cap if Ulrich is able to take down Scrag in this position here, get this objective. Like the Ogres are looking really, really bare on the battlefield, like super bare. Got some Iron Guts back here. Iron Guts aren't a bad choice because they do have 90 armor, and the anti-large cheap cav, the Hellstriders of Slaanesh, do not have great armor piercing values. Though they have anti-large, which is still helpful, the Iron Guts are going to be substantially more durable in this fight here. Whoa, giant brick clipping there as we maneuver there. But the Gorgers being dragged down, slowly but surely. They might be able to win this point. Slaanesh is going to have to reinforce here. I don't know what they're going to send across, but it looks like they're going for the back objective right now, which is a slight mistake. Because right now, Ulrich thinks that it's just the Noblars back here. He does not see the Gorgers camping. And that's one of the big powers of stalking units, and we're going to be seeing that when the old world comes back as well, right? We're going to be seeing stalk units be super, super good in domination mode here. But the Hellstriders of Slaanesh cruising across, looking for some of the chaff units here, thinking that their old whips are going to have the way with the Noblars, but the Gorgers are going to be in there to provide a very rude awakening. Dangerous play here for the Chungus Kingdoms. Here, the Sweet Sorrow is going down, so the entire Slaanesh army getting a bigger buff as well as a speed buff. And Scrag is broken, guys. Ogres are massively ahead, but I think Slaanesh could actually get the dreaded triple cap. And it is to the point where they're going to need that. So back here, you can see the Hell Scourges getting in. Noblars might get broken, but yeah, the Gorgers are going to give them the dirty for sure. But for how much they cost, I mean, if they can bring the Gorgers down to like 60% and also take the Noblars off the objective, I mean, that's kind of paving the way. And look at the value differential, man. Ulrich is up by like 2,000 or 3,000 now. Scrag is getting put in the trash can. And this little position back here is, I guess, decent for the forces of the Ogre Kingdoms. It's a little bit hard to say. I mean, they have a Giant, some Gorgers here, but look at these Marauder Spears. These guys are just MVPs. This Giant's been going a long time, though. I love how the Giants for the Ogre Kingdoms are really cool. I love the helmets that they have. But, I mean, the Giants only accrued, what, 500 value? Let's see how much it gets after that attack. Okay, 488. Yeah, it's really, really not doing terribly well. Ogres are going to be searching for the side objective. Rigson really, really scrapping pretty well. He's massively ahead on points. It does have to be a triple cap, though. So for the Ogres, I think if you want to Helm's Deep, that's probably the time to do it. Just bank everybody back on objective number 1. Although still threatening the third objective does make it a little bit trickier for Slaanesh to consolidate its efforts. But, man, the Soul Grinders are both still alive. This is incredible stuff. Now the Soul Grinder of Slaanesh is going to be moving across, piling in on the Gorger Kingdoms. And we should just call them Gorger Kingdoms. I think that's perfect. And the Herald's still going too. Yeah, many of the very squishy Slaanesh characters still going strong. Her and her Anteater mount certainly looking to celebrate a victory here as they do move across to go after the Noblars. Marauders of Slaanesh moving on to the objective. Obviously, Slaanesh is going to need some heavy capture weight to get this. They are going to need the triple cap, if I'm not mistaken, to win this. I could be wrong, but again, I was pretty terrible at math in high school, so I could be a little bit off there. Gorgers here, one model left, the Giant being dragged down. Slaanesh using their Seekers. Seekers, even though they're not like an anti-large unit, they have really crazy combat stats. You can see 52 melee attack on these guys right now because of the Slaanesh passive. So that Alpha Strike timing's super good. And the Gorgers, or excuse me, the Iron Guts getting absolutely destroyed. And they cost about the same. I believe they're both a 1,000 gold unit. So the Seeker is really trading super upward here. And most of the Ogre army is just getting swept super, super hard by the forces of Slaanesh. And Slaanesh does have a little bit of time. I mean, the fact that you need a triple cap here, yes, is one thing, but there's still a lot of time on the table, right? Ogres are only going to be getting 5 points per second, whereas Slaanesh is going to be getting 10, so that gives them time to get all these like speedy units over here and try and get this. And Rigson's just going to Helm's Deep on the back objective at this point, I think. Yeah, we see Ogre Bulls coming in, Scrag is still alive. Maybe just like whatever Gorgers you have in reserve, pile them here and just get Noblars and just go for it. So Massacre being popped. It is the Ogre army ability. It gives them the Terror Route, which isn't very good against Slaanesh because all these Slaanesh units, for the most part, have either ITP or like Demonic and don't really care about that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's pretty nasty. Like, even the basic Marauders of Slaanesh have immune to Psychology, which makes them one of the better chaff units in the entire game. So Giant over here is still going like a champ. I would wager he's probably barely at 600 value, though, which kind of sucks for him. Yeah, he's at about 700, give or take. And the Soul Grinder of Slaanesh is an anti-large world beater, backed up by Marauder Spears, which are easily going to be dragging down this Giant. And the Slaaneshi units are really, really just harassing this back zone and keeping the Ogres from being able to reinforce adequately. Granted, spawn camping isn't really like super really a thing in this game. I mean, unless you're just getting dominated in value, which kind of he is right now. But you could also spawn here and just run this way. You could spawn here, you could spawn here, and you can move across. So like Slaanesh can cover its bases here a little bit better. I love this Slaanesh Hunter Squad. Oh my god. Just a big blob of disgusting cav. And back here, this objective still going to the Ogre Kingdoms, but I don't know how much for longer. Slaanesh is going to be piling in with reinforcements across the board. We got Seekers of Slaanesh, and yeah, man, look at them. Iron Guts getting chewed down. Good night, sweet princes. And looking around, man, Ogres looking real bare bones. Certainly some hungry folks here on the table. Ogres could try some like cheeky secret caps or something. Maybe like sneak some Noblar Trappers down here to try and jack this middle point when Slaanesh isn't paying attention. But man, oh man, Slaanesh doing the work of the Dark Prince here for sure. It's pretty cool to see like one of the demon factions actually able to really contest the Ogres. Because normally Ogres are so dominant against Khorne, and against Nurgle, obviously Nurgle has like very little chances against Ogres. It can be done for sure, but I think at the highest level of play, if you're taking people who are like top 4 finalists in tournaments, yeah, like I don't think that Nurgle's going to have much of a chance against Ogre Kingdoms, right? But on ladder, obviously, or if there's like in a tournament in the lower rounds, yeah, I think Nurgle could like, you know, get a cheeky win against Ogres, but overall I just think it's so hard. But Slaanesh seems to do really well in the hands of good players. I've obviously seen Slaanesh get absolutely smashed by Ogres before when it's lesser players, but somebody like Ulrich, who's playing like a man possessed today, is clearly capable of doing it. So we do have this Slaanesh triple cap here. They have done it. And here in the back, Ogre Bulls with dual weapons are pretty much the last bastion of the Ogre Kingdoms, as Scrag is being taken to task here by the Herald of Slaanesh. 60 melee attack against his 40 melee defense. Scrag probably going to go down here. Yeah, the Herald's not like super tanky, but pretty good fighter. Slaanesh is known for being good duelists on their characters here, as the Anteater does nibble on Scrag and forces him back. A couple Saber Tusks trying. And yeah, just like we talked about, the Secret Agent cap is coming in, so Rigson, oh, he's going for the middle. Slaanesh is going to respond pretty quick, though. We got Hellstriders moving in to support that. I would imagine they could maneuver over some of their Marauders, which aren't terribly slow. They do have 38 speed, so they can move over here and secure this objective. And the triple cap is here. Man, very well played by Ulrich. He's able to get the win over the Ogre Kingdoms, which is a big accomplishment. Rigson obviously playing quite well, but dealing with this double Soul Grinder Goon Squad was very tough for them, for sure. I've actually tried the Soul Grinder build myself. Haven't had much success. I don't have the micro that Ulrich has. I think he's really been practicing this quite a bit. So Scrag here, he is debuffed by Acquiescence, which is a very nice debuff spell from the lore of Slaanesh, but the better part about Acquiescence is the fact that it does debuff the entire enemy army. So for example, like the entire Chungus army is going to be taking, the entire Slaanesh army is going to be getting a melee attack buff. And that's got to be game here. I don't see any comeback. Like the last gambit that the forces of the Ogre Kingdoms had, like sneaking in some Noblar Trappers to try and grab these objectives was very cute. But Slaanesh is a faction that can react super quick to anything. Almost all their cav have like 100 speed. I think Fiends are one of the only ones that have like, and they're a monstrous unit. They're not really cav. but they have like 95 or something, or 90. Like, they're so quick. So Slaanesh is super good at reacting to positional play. And now Slaanesh is going to be going in for the dreaded pin, and the Ogre Kingdoms are looking like they're on the back foot. As the Noblar is going to be chased down. Impressive play. Both these games, man, game one with Ulrich using the Noblars to like dance on the objective around the Corn Warriors, and this one too, just like picking the good targets. Slaanesh is a really hard faction to play because like you're so squishy that you have to allocate your resources so effectively. Your decision making and like knowing if you can win engagements has to be so solid, which I think is why Slaanesh might be a harder faction for newer players who don't have the same game knowledge. But for folks who have like this long-term game knowledge, like Ulrich Rahl, obviously knowing where you can win engagements, knowing what will be what, like all those little things like that is very, very important. And in this case, there's no chance for Rigson, so that's got to be GG well played. Wouldn't be surprised if he withdrew here in a second. There's literally no Ogre units in the battlefield. It is just pure destruction. I think he's trying one more last gamble here. Yeah, look at the Noblars moving over as if, oh man. That's how you know the Ogres are desperate, when they have to send the Haggard Noblars in. It's like that's all they have. The Great Maw has been taken out. GG indeed. Yeah, very, very good Slaanesh play. And Slaanesh is becoming a contender for sure. Like, we don't really see Nurgle terribly often, or Cathay, but aside from that, the other 5 factions are actually seeing pretty dynamic play. Like Khorne, Slaanesh, Tzeentch, and then we have Kislev and Ogres. Like, those 5 factions are seeing a lot of action in tournaments, which is cool. So hopefully in patch 1.1, which is coming soon, Creative Assembly has said there's going to be some balancing stuff going on in that. Hopefully there will be a couple things to make Cathay a little bit better, and to also help the old Nurgle, which is going to be great. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is a sweep. There's no way. The points are ticking. Ulrich Rahl dancing, I'm sure, and celebrating his victory. And there we have it. GG, well played. That was a great one, man. That was a great one. Taking a look at the value. The Giant was a bit of a gamble. It didn't quite pay for itself. I love the ambition from Rigson, though. I thought that was really neat. Iron Blaster got shut down, too. So, like, look, the big power pieces that the Ogres brought, both of them got shut down. 600 here, 771. So, like, those big expensive units not paying for themselves is going to be pretty disastrous. Gorgers did good, of course, but the Giants were the weak link. Soul Grinders, only 1,000 and 1,800, but the thing is they survived the entire game and provided terror routes, which is very good. Herald did really good. Cav did fine. Ooh, man, look at these Hellstriders. For like, what, 600 gold, you're getting 1,500 value? That's incredibly solid. Wow, 2,000 value on the Seekers. Crazy, crazy stuff. GG, well played. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Ulrich Rahl, through the power of technology, will be advancing on to the Grand Finals to face the winner of Outerregion and the Platypus. Ulrich Rahl looking to get on the leaderboard. Ulrich, please make sure to update your point on the website so we can take a look at all that good stuff. And now we will get the next players in the lobby. Well played, Ulrich. Well played. All right, so just going to refresh the lobby here. And it looks good. All righty. Thank you all for joining today. It's going to be a fun tournament. Obviously midweek, a little bit wild, but it's a good time for all. All right. So let me go ahead and tag these gentlemen. So it is Outerregion. And it's going to be the Platypus. All right, cool. Yeah, the Giant was a little bit weird. I understand the idea, though, because like it lasted the whole battle. I just feel like its damage sucked. Like, Giants might be good at fighting other SEMs, but they don't really clear infantry very quickly. Yeah, like I've seen Giants be really good in like SEM blobs when they're trying to fight like enemy monsters, but I found that if Giants get tar pitted in infantry, it just takes them like 10 years to kill anything, you know? All right. Cool. Yeah, they tried their best. It was a really good Slaanesh build, though. It was fun. Yeah, Fiends have also been another player that's been pretty popular, too. All right, so setting up the next lobby right now, ladies and gentlemen. Should be about good to go. And it's going to be Outerregion versus the Platypus. The dreaded Platypus is here. No more games. No more mercy is going to be shown. All right. Let's take a look. See if it got all updated on the website. Yes, it did. So if we look here, we can see Ulrich Rahl has advanced on to the Grand Finals to face the winner of Outerregion and Platypus. And up here on the main page, let's take a look. Yeah, look at that. Ulrich is just waiting to get at the top of the leaderboard. Just waiting. So if Ulrich is able to win the tournament, yeah, he's 10-2 right now with an 83% win rate. Like, obviously, there's folks who have like 100% win rate who've only played in one event, but Ulrich has played in multiple events. And like, if you can have a consistent win rate of like 83%, that is so impressive. That is so impressive. So obviously, the leaderboard is going to be a little bit more, accurate in terms of like player win rate once we get a little bit further down the line. But yeah, that's a really solid win rate. 10 wins and 2 losses. Very, very good. So closing in, if Ulrich Rahl is able to win the grand finals, he will take over the number 2 spot on the leaderboard and will be challenging Void Laws for the number 1 spot. And then Zyphos would be bumped to number 4. So it's pretty cool. Also, if you guys are interested in seeing, like, if you want to just kind of explore the competitive scene for yourself, if you head on over to the site, you can go to the leaderboard here, obviously, and you can search by player. So if you want to like look up any player, you can find their win to loss ratio. Another thing too is you can go look at past tournaments. So we have like an archive of old tournaments. You can go back and you can look and see who won what and who was the champs of these respective events and things like that. So that's something else you can do on the website. And when you look at the players' profiles too, which I'm thinking about like reformatting this a little bit. But let's go to the leaderboard. I, for example, can click on Void Laws and I can see his match history, right? So I can see who he's won against and I can see who he's lost against. So this can kind of give you an idea of like who's played what and who was able to beat who. It's a really kind of a fun thing. And you can see the scores as well. So for example, he lost to Bob Mans, who won in this series. He won against Fight Me, 2-1 in this series, that sort of stuff. So, all right, so let's switch on back to the old lobby and see what the players are going to pick and ban. It looks like the names actually fit for once, and I think they're still working it out. Let me just see if the players have any questions or are struggling to get into the lobby. All right, Domination. Cool. And Death Pass will be the first map. And cool. All righty. How many people are on the leaderboard? I'm not sure. Let me double check. You could even put the time codes of each match into the... Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, Carrot Shell, that's a decent idea. But that would be a bit of manual labor, but it's something to consider. Man, I really want to see the campaign Turin. I'm going to be... Once they have the patch come in, I'm going to be doing more campaigns. Conrad, I love it. He says, oh no, haggard American date formats. Yes. Suffer our American metrics and dates. John B says, Turin, seeing the website makes me so proud of y'all. I remember you talking a ton during the Warhammer days about how badly you wanted this. Yeah, and a lot of it came down to finding a developer who was super awesome to work with, passionate about the game, and also like affordable as well. Because like website, development and website creation, it's pretty expensive for sure. But this guy was really, really passionate and really reasonably priced, and he did a really good job. And it was just one guy doing this, like him and I just working on this. He was like calling me like every couple days to check in and talk about things and show me things. Like, dude, I'm super impressed. So Paul, if you're out there, man, you were great to work with, and I'm going to be working with him again to add more features to the website down the road. Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. When is the patch 1.1 releasing? My guess would be the first week of April. Yeah. First week of April, for sure. Would be my guess. Do we have an Ogre Kingdoms mirror match? I think we do. Let me go ahead and double check. Yeah, it's going to be an Ogre mirror match. Oh my god. Hey, just use different flags is all I ask, please. For the love of the dark gods. And hopefully this will change soon. Once Iron Blasters and Gorgers are nerfed, I think we're going to see more diversity in the meta. Did Falcon retire? No, he's taking a break. He's waiting for the Mortal Empires, and also I think Falcon was just in the middle of a big move, so I think that he's been pretty busy. Yeah. Reasonable clients are a treat as well. Hey, yeah, appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, so we're gonna add some cool stuff. I'm really excited to kind of talk about features, and I need to make a video talking about what folks would like to see on the old site. It is an Ogre mirror match. The last game was super fun. It was. What do you think should be the next theme for Total War? I would like to see Total War Medieval 3, and then I would like to see Total War Warhammer 40k. If like Games Workshop does that, because I wouldn't want 40k to happen right away. Because I think that Warhammer 3 has a lot of life to live. There's going to be DLCs, and I honestly think when Warhammer 3 is like at its pinnacle, it has all the factions in, there's like really cool DLCs, and the map is epic. I think that Warhammer 3 will honestly be one of the greatest Total War games of all time, if not the greatest. It had a really rough launch, but I think down the road, this game has just a freakish amount of potential. So I would like to see this game get fleshed out in conjunction with a really good historical release, so like a medieval, and then after that, I would love to see 40K. That would be like my jam. I also wouldn't mind seeing another Shogun game, but I mean, Shogun, like the most recent Shogun still is a pretty good game, so I don't know if they need to redo that yet. Yeah, Lincoln, I have seen the double stealth stone horns. People have done that against me as well. A new Napoleon or Empire? Yeah, fair play. Hey, Turin, how do I add my clan for the website? Oh, Flying Taco, we haven't added that feature yet. We're going to be adding that in soon. Also, another thing too, Flying Taco, is there's going to be, I'm going to work with clans on the website. So if you guys want your own page on the website, any clan leader can hit me up or any clan representative, and I can give them access to the back end of the website for like writing purposes, and you can design your own page. You can put player bios, you can do whatever you want and have it on there. Also, like how to sign up and join your clan, like whatever you want to do. So like that's something else I want to do, and I can do that anytime you guys hit me up. I would just give you access. It's a really simple editing tool in the back end. It's basically like Google Docs. You can just go and edit a document, upload pictures, whatever you want. Videos can be embedded. So yeah, Shogun 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. I loved Shogun 2. I would be down for another Empire game. Yeah, I think it'd be fun. All right, guys. Super sweaty match here. It's going to be Outerregion versus the Menacing Platypus. We have an Iron Blaster, Scrag, Noblars, Ogre Bulls, and Man-Eater Pistols. Very standard stuff. Man-Eater Pistols are just like a really, really powerful unit. I think they need a cost increase of like 100 gold for how good they are. Their range damage is so good. So good. And looking on the other side, we do have the old Iron Blaster coming in here for the Menacing Platypus. Front line is going to be Noblars. And, I mean, yeah, no Scrag on this side. Okay, so one side is going to be having the Gorger advantage. Captain Triple Chin is here for Outerregion. But looking at the Menacing Platypus, it's going to be a Slaughtermaster, which means maybe we're not going to be seeing Gorgers. Oh, and a much bigger melee army. Wow, look at the Bulls on Parade. If you guys like Rage Against the Machine, that is a great song. Yeah, that's probably... Speaking of Rage Against the Machine, I think Bulls on Parade is one of my favorite songs of theirs. Also, Guerrilla Radio. Oh my god, that song is so epic. Like, some of my favorite memories in high school were driving my first car and just blasting Guerrilla Radio. God, that song is so good. Ah, it's so good. But yeah, so we're seeing for Platypus here, it is a full force of Ogre Bulls. Like a much wider army that's obviously going to be playing objectives. And begun the Clone Wars have. We have the dreaded Iron Blaster duel, which is like the staple of our tournaments right now. So basically what happens is the players are going to juke their Iron Blasters back and forth and just take pot shots at one another. It is so funny. It is like just the biggest meme ever. Okay, here comes the Iron Blaster. I like that the Platypus is hiding like, oh, that's a close one. Okay, just kind of hit. And also a little bit of collateral damage on the Noblars in the back. But I like that Platypus is hiding everything, and so too is the army here of Outerregion. Although a little bit open here. Yeah, because now the Iron Blaster as a target is basically the point that I was getting to. Iron Blaster here. Oh my god, look at the damage on that thing. That is pure filth. The Iron Blaster of the Menacing Platypus is going to be falling back. So that is some serious danger. Yeah, Ant-Man, that song is so good. It's so good. Yeah, love it. So we're going to be moving up on the objective right now. Scrag and company obviously having won the Clone Wars. So the Iron Blaster for the Menacing Platypus probably going to be pulling back at this point, which I certainly don't blame them for. Oh, I love this from Outerregion. I love this. This is so good. The dreaded back cap. So Outerregion gets a couple Noblar Trappers to go casually steal this back objective. That is about 900 gold there, so it's not like a freebie, but I love this play so much. Now back in the middle, we do have the Ogre Bulls moving up onto the objective. Man-Eater Pistols wasting a little bit of ammo into the Noblars, and it looks like the Chungus Kingdoms for Menacing Platypus. Iron Fists are active, which is going to give them shields against the Man-Eaters, but they're going to be moving up in some serious numbers for sure. The melee prowess of this Platypus army is quite a bit stronger, and the other Iron Blaster is just going to be sitting up in the hill, probably receiving Troll Guts, and is going to be trying to shoot whenever it can. I love this back cap. I love it. And I can't wait to see Skaven do that. Like, I think Skaven with the back cap on, like, Death Runners Night Runners, like all that kind of stuff is going to be super fun. So the Ogre Civil War is upon us. We have Captain America versus Iron Man. They're going fisticuffs, shoulder bumping. Somebody's certainly going to be eating well today, as there's a lot of meat between these two armies. And the Ogres are charging in. Gorger's coming in with Scrag. Obviously, they're going to have healing, whereas Gorger's on the other side might not. The dreaded back cap is about to be finished. And, oh, look at this, the reverse back cap as well. So the Menacing Platypus obviously had that position up in the hills here and is going to be taking objective 1. So really the epicenter of combat is going to be this objective right here. So basically, guys, not a lot of crazy analysis to get into. It's just a bunch of, you know, chubby dudes rubbing their bellies together, and that's kind of what's going on here. Man-Eater pistols obviously will provide a lot of DPS to this fight, though they're not going to be as good at wrestling the objective because their capture weight isn't necessarily all on the objective. They still are going to be putting a substantial amount of DPS onto the Ogre Bulls here. Nobblar's moving through. In the back, some Saber Tusks looking to maybe penetrate into the backfield to get on top of the Man-Eaters. And now the Menacing Platypus is going to be taking objective 2. Now, as far as objective 1, that is going to be going to the back cap of the Platypus, and objective 3 is currently being taken by 2 Nobblar Trappers. I'm curious if the Ogres are going to send anything over here to try and get this, because right now, Menacing Platypus is doing a good job wrestling the objectives. Value trading wise, though, it's pretty decent at this point. I mean, I would say that the Man-Eater pistols should outtrade the Platypus a little bit in terms of pure damage, but Platypus with all of the shielded Ogres, I know there's a couple Iron Fists in there, and ooh, look at that, Wyson's Wild Form going down. A huge armor and damage buff on these guys, and you know what? The armor buff in this matchup might actually be super good, right? Because most Ogre Bull units don't have good armor piercing, so slapping like a Wyson's Wild Form or like some sort of an armor buff might actually be kind of feasible against the Ogre Kingdoms. Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. Brian Cheney saying Turin could totally host Celebrity Deathmatch. Dude, I would do that so fast, you have no idea. I would do that so quick. Looking around, value lead is a little bit higher for the Platypus, as Platypus is getting a good engagement here. It looks like there's going to be some sort of witchcraft going down. Okay, it's going to be the Curse of Onrare, so look at all these AoE debuffs. Mitigating the melee attack, melee defense, and oh no, accuracy as well. Well, I guess that affects the Man-Eater pistols if they're in range. Yeah, it does. Not a super impactful one. Both players are kind of just pouring in everything they have. This one Iron Blaster for the Menacing Platypus is kind of just sitting up in the hills and trying not to die, as it does rip shots downtown. And maybe it's going to be able to emerge and rip some pot shots here with this other Iron Blaster that's a little bit kind of set in combat. Now, this is a really, really big play. The fact that Outerregion left this back objective, I think, is very precarious, because now the Menacing Platypus is able to sneak some Nobblar Trappers back here to get 3, which means that he'll probably have a triple cap. And I think it's going to take a long, long time for the Ogres of Outerregion to actually be able to wrestle this objective from the Platypus here. The fight continues to go. Scrag seems to be on the retreat. Just a huge blob of angry Ogres here, just karate kicking Nobblars. Oh, poor little guys, you know, they're getting bullied pretty hard. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited for when the Ogres get their nerfs to the Iron Blaster and Gorgers to, like, see them be played more, you know? Like, so then we can see them in more diverse matchups. I think everybody's kind of afraid to, like, play them with, like, other factions outside of Ogres. That's why we see, like, Ogre mirrors so often. And I can't wait for the day, because they're such a cool faction. They have so much dynamic playstyle and options, but they're just so fine-tuned in a couple different ways. But I mean, to be completely fair, though, one side here isn't even using Gorgers. I don't think we've seen a single one from the Menacing Platypus. And now with this back objective being taken here, I think that we're going to be seeing a pretty substantial stranglehold on the game from the Menacing Platypus, who is currently up by 1,200 value and is also holding on to all 3 objectives there. Iron Blaster for Outerregion, getting some pot shots into the Saber Tusks and missing. And the other Iron Blaster up in the hills is cackling. Uh-oh. Let's watch this shot here. Is it going to make it? Do you believe in miracles? Is it going to hit that Iron Blaster? Nope, it hides behind the rock and is able to live to fight another day. Yeah, and it still has a lot of ammo, so I think you want to hold on to that bad boy. Now, the middle objective might actually be re-wrestled here by Outerregion. The fact that Scrag is using Troll Guts on these Gorgers and has the Man-Eater pistols in the back providing some nice Overwatch fire, very, very strong. But these guys are another aspect of this fight that is making a big difference that a lot of people might not be accounting for. These little trolls have already gotten 520 damage value. And you know why? It's because they're throwing their little ninja stars into the Gorgers. All right, guys, we have found it. We have found the solution to Gorgers. It is Nobblar Trappers. They are doing good work. So if you guys are Skaven players, we're talking Gutter Runners, we're talking Skaven Slave Slingers, we're talking all those kind of units. They're going to be super, super good against Gorger Kingdoms, I think. So the Gorger is being worn down here. All 3 objectives have gone to the forces of the Menacing Platypus. And we are going to be seeing an attempt for Outerregion to scrap back here in the middle. But, you know, being behind on all 3 objectives and also being behind by about 3,000 value at this point is going to be super, super hard to come back from. You can only, like, kind of be losing on one or the other, like, to still have a decent chance to come back. Like, if the table was turned and Outerregion was, of course, winning on value but losing on objectives. I'm like, okay, maybe in the late game there's going to be an opportunity for like a cap or something like that. But in this case, it just seems like the little Noblar trappers with their ninja stars, man. What kind of value? 733 on these little guys, dude. MVPs. Countering those Gorgers super hard. Scrag doesn't know what to do with himself. He's like, how could my Gorgers die? And this Iron Blaster here now being attacked by the Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw. And the other Gorger, or Iron Blaster, where is it? Is it still hiding in the bushes? It is, but it's emerging. The Iron Blaster emerges. Look at it. Oh, yes. Once more from the trees. The big Chungus rolls. The back objective being threatened, but at that point, he does withdraw, which I think is good. And that's going to be a victory for the Menacing Platypus. GG, well played. Noblar Trappers OP. Yeah, really, really good stuff. Let's look at the ones for Menacing Platypus, see what kind of value they got. 900 value on those guys. Man, 700. Those little trappers were MVPs. So it seemed that the wider, thicker army was able to win. Just using a wider force to play the objectives, whereas this force was much more elite. This force is like more designed for like gooning. And this force was designed for playing the objectives and swarming. And it seemed to have a little bit of an edge over the forces of Outerregion, but both players played very well. And now that the Ogres are out of the way, we can have a fun matchup. And now it is time for game 2. GG, well played. Dude, those Noblars were super, super good. Yeah, they were great. All right, so let us go ahead and do the Galleon's Cove for the next map. Yeah, crazy stuff. Thank you all for joining today. It's been fun so far. We are on the next match here. We have a donation from Mr. Watermelon. Love all the tournament work. Keep it up. Hey, thank you for the $8. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Oh, I missed a couple. Thank you for the 20 as well, getting hype. Sorry, guys. I was like super focused on the commentary. Thank you guys so much for the support. And let me just move this somewhere here. Cool. Dude, the trappers were great. Yeah, maybe they should be more, like, it's kind of like we saw that with Skaven at some points when Skaven were dealing with like Chaos Spawn rushes from the Warriors of Chaos in game 1 or game 2. They would use like Skaven Slave Slingers, Night Runner Slingers sometimes to counter them. So it's kind of like a similar principle, right? Yeah, I like that. Shrek would be very proud of that battle. He would, for sure. His people were very well represented. So Galleon's Cove is very much a brawler map. Shooting is a little bit harder on it, but you know, someone like Kislev can certainly do the trick. All right, so next we have the Platypus, who's going to be picking Tzeentch and Khorne for the 2 picks here. And now it's going to be, oh my god, are we getting a Khorne mirror match? Oh my god. Okay, so Platypus picks Tzeentch and Khorne, okay? And then Outerregion picks Khorne as his pick. So now Platypus can either choose Tzeentch or Khorne. Oh my god. We could have a Khorne mirror match here. Or Tzeentch. I mean, Tzeentch, I think Tzeentch Khorne isn't a bad one. I feel like that one's relatively even. Maybe slightly Tzeentch favored, but not even. I don't know. It's kind of depends on the players. Are you thinking of doing a patch 1.1 release tournament? Oh, dude, when they release that patch, I'm going to have like 4 tournaments that week. Yeah, it's going to be deep. Oh my god, we have a Khorne mirror match. Oh, it's happening, dude. It's happening. The Khorne mirror match on the Galleon's Cove. This is actually a cool one. I like the Khorne mirror matches. They're fun. It's very brawly. Yeah, so I'm going to be having several per week when the patch is released. Dude, but when Old World, you know what I'm thinking about doing? When they add the Old World factions back in, I'm thinking about having a special event, which is a week-long set of tournaments. So every single day for 7 days in a row, we have tournaments, just going deep. I don't know. I would probably regret it. Because like regular streams are far less tiring than tournaments where I have to like be like, you know, projecting my voice and getting all crazy and stuff. But halflings, yes, give us halflings, dude. Give us the halflings. Noblar Trappers are really good. Yeah, they're incredibly difficult to deal with. And the stock is really strong too. All right, Khorne mirror match on Galleon's Cove. This one is pretty grindy, for sure. I mean, Exalted Bloodletters I think are really good here. I think the next winner is going to be Violence, yeah. Do you think the Blood Reaper can counter Final Transmutation? I mean, it certainly helps. But you have to be really on point with your usage of it. And it takes a ton of micro to like have it in the right place. Yeah, so here's the thing. If you guys, I know there's often folks in chat asking for Discord links. I've seen a couple today. If you guys want to get into the old Discord, let me show you real quick. All right. So just go to the website, which we have, totaltavern.com, and you can click on the Discord link up here. That's it. So now, like, anytime you want to get a link to your friends or anything like that, you can just send them here and they can go up top and they can join that way, which is good. Which is good. My dad is going to beat up your dad. That's basically what this matchup comes down to, yeah. So you can get the links here, and we got some fun articles up right now, which is all good. We're going to have some more guides coming up this week too. We have a Kislev guide coming up on the website, and I'm also going to be adding build guides. So there's going to be like entire guides, and then there's going to be a build guide section, which is just going to have like screenshots of builds for like different matchups and things like that. So hopefully that'll be useful for you guys. Alrighty. Menacing Platypus in chat. I love the bulging eyes of your Platypus avatar is quite funny. All right, blood for the blood god for sure, man. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Hey, Goat Spirit, I'm glad you enjoy the videos, man. I know Warhammer 3 isn't in the best spot right now, but you know we're still having fun with these events, so. And it's only gonna get better from here. I feel like Skarbrand and Torox would be BFFs. Oh, for sure, Brian. I agree with that. I feel like they would be pals. Yeah, just kind of all in the family, you know. They could be siblings for all we know. So Skarbrand is going to be facing off against a Herald of Khorne. I like that there's some build variety here, that they're not using like the exact same thing. One of the cooler aspects of Domination. It's kind of like your opening builds here. Chaos Warriors, Exalted Bloodletters of Khorne, Skarbrand, as well as a Soulgrinder of Khorne. Very elite army here for the forces of, I believe that's Outerregion, yes. And now taking a look at the Khornate forces here of Menacing Platypus, it is going to be a Halberd Spawn Rush. Interesting. I'm curious, I feel like the Exalted Bloodletters in enough numbers will trade well against this blob, but maybe not with the double Cultist. So Platypus going for a very wide build, as well as a foot-based Herald, which is very good in these blobs, because the foot-based Herald does have a couple AoE melee attack buffs and different things like that, the Locus of Violence or whatever it's called, so. This is a very loreful match. You know, and Khorne, instead of actually like conquering the old world, would probably just rather fight amongst themselves. You know, it's just like, that's what happens. That's like the classic plot armor in like old school Games Workshop is like, you know, you have the Skaven, and then you read the lore, you're like, oh my god, the Skaven can make like nuclear weapons. How can they not like defeat the old world? And then you're like, oh, wait a second, they just are always backstabbing each other and ruining everyone's plans. Because like, if Clan Scryer rolls up and is like, hey man, we're going to destroy and take all the credit for everything. Well, you know, Eshin isn't going to have that, or, you know, they're going to get poisoned by, you know, pestilence, or, you know, Eshin's going to have something to say about it because they want the glory. So Skaven are always just screwing each other up, which is really funny. And it's kind of like that with Chaos too. The fact that Chaos doesn't unify, like, and they're always like all over the place is like, you know, why they never like truly just end it. I mean, obviously the End Times is one thing, but the End Times was simply because, you know, they just wanted to change up the IP. Yeah. So Soulgrinder here getting some nice shots. I kind of like the Soulgrinder, kind of cool. Gonna be a little bit weak against like the Halberd spam though, but it still is getting its cannon shots in. What's really funny about the Soulgrinder is you can't choose where you want to shoot it with the Khorne one. It just goes wherever it wants. Whatever's like close. You know, so the Outerregion is having to like kind of like, you know, get these pot shots here. I think for Outerregion, playing the side objectives is going to be the play here. I would honestly summon like an Exalted Bloodletter and just send it down here. And then play the top in this. Because this Khorne army is like very designed for a blob fight. It wants it bad, right? This army wants you to just come in and go Mortal Kombat against it. That's what it's designed for. It has the summons, it has spawn, it has a Herald of Khorne. Like, it's pretty terrifying. But if this army is forced to split up, then it's not going to be so good. Cult is coming in from Outerregion, and the Exalted Bloodletters and the Chaos Warriors of Khorne are moving up to the high ground objective. And yeah, a little bit of nice scooting and shooting from the Soulgrinder. This thing's doing some StarCraft 2 Marine Micro, and is able to get some pot shots there. That's one of the things. So on the subject of talking about like Chaos and them not working together, that's very much the case in 40k as well. Like basically all the Chaos Warbands and Chaos Gods are always like all over the place, and that's kind of why I think Abaddon is a cool character, because he's like trying to like bring everyone together for like one big party. I think it's kind of neat. Skarbrand the Exiled, Breath Attack. It's going to be going down. He's going to be farming some stats, and there he goes. And he does take out 7 warriors here, and now his weapon strength is 700. I love the farming mechanic from Skarbrand. It's so fun. So he's up to 700 weapon strength right now, 83 melee attack, and he's just farming some kills. Yeah, this is Value City for Outerregion, and this is cool. Okay, so we get Chaos Warhounds going for the back objective. Gotta watch out though, Chaos Warhounds are very weak. I mean, they can still capture it if nothing goes over there, but yeah, now there's gonna be the big brother is coming. You have the little brother here, the Chaos Warhounds, and then the big Chad brother. It's gonna be the Fleshhounds of Khorne. Easily gonna be able to take control of that side point. More and more shots going in against the Chaos Warriors on the Halberds from the Soulgrinder. Top objective's going to be taken. I think the Bloodletters might need to come down here. I would have liked to have seen something much stronger being sent here. Like an infantry unit would have been nice. Yeah, so now we get Fleshhounds from Outerregion. Are these guys just going to be sending all the Fleshhounds at one another? Our Arcturian in chat asking, has Voidlulls played today? Yeah, he was, but he actually lost in the earlier rounds. He was defeated by the Menacing Platypus, who's playing right now. Menacing Platypus did win one of our first kind of launch weekend tournaments in the earlier ranks, and clearly is a very, very strong player as well. So, all right, Fleshhounds of Khorne on the objective. This is exactly what you want to be doing if you're Outerregion. You do not want to commit. Oh, and the big breath attack right down the side. Huge. Farmbrand is up to 721. I love the farming. I love the farming, dude. It's so cool. So now he's going to be pulling back, looking for his prize. Maybe going in after the Chaos Warriors. I don't think so. Yeah, like this build is very blobby, but it's not going to be as good at playing the side objectives. Now this objective has been taken. What is the response going to be? Because Outerregion needs to hold this, and some Spawn have been sent over here. Spawn are no joke. They are pretty fighty for sure. It looks like they might actually go in and fight the Chaos Spawn while also getting flanked by Fleshhounds. That feels like a mistake. Feels like you're giving a lot of value. Okay, and yeah, Outerregion sees this at the last second and is going to be pulling back. I honestly would like to see Scarbrand run over here. Like, just have him beeline for this objective. Take your cultists over here. Let your Soul Grinder keep shooting. And just live long and prosper. This top objective is being abandoned for now. Looks like the troops are being pulled to the middle, and I think there's going to be some sort of a blob fight. One Chaos Warrior unit is going to be sent back to the base, it looks like, or there was an attempt for that. But this objective is now in the hands of the dreaded and menacing Platypus, as Outerregion is going to be, ooh, I like this. He baits the Spawn over here in a way, and now moves to the middle to get a big fight. And Scarbrand's obviously a beast, right? Those Halberd units have been sent home, I think, or they're trying to get sent home, but it's getting interrupted by the Soul Grinder. And the first summons are out, so it's going to be a cultist summon. I'm not sure which cultist is doing it. It's hard to tell which side it's coming from. Okay, so those were from the Menacing Platypus. And you know what? You could just withdraw here. If these Fleshhounds can escape here, we'll see. Yeah, because you baited out a summon, you didn't really commit to a fight, and if these Fleshhounds hadn't been committed so much, that would be a super strong bait. But obviously the objectives are going to be going in the favor here of the Platypus. But really, really nice play there, baiting out the summon. Because now the summon has been used, and those guys are just going to waddle around. Soul Grinder is it stuck right now? I think it might be stuck. The Soul Grinder bug is a real pain. Yeah, it looks like it might have gotten stuck on something. There it goes. Okay, yeah, it just got kind of like a weird thing for a second, but now it's able to move. So it took a little bit of damage, but I would have been really sad to see the game lost on like the Soul Grinder being buggy. We'd have to maybe think about like replaying it or something if it was like in a close game like this. Like, yeah, it's a tricky one. So Soul Grinder's moving around now. Back objective is firmly in control of the Menacing Platypus. I think at this point, the battle is going to be taking place in the middle. The summons are about to wear off. Yeah, in 2 seconds. So the summons are gone. 1 and 2, and they're gone. And now Scarbrand the Exiled and the boys are moving in. Khorne, blood for the Blood God as he comes in with the atomic soccer kick on the Khorne Warriors. Cultist summons on both sides. Obviously, there's going to be 2 summons to 1. Exalted Bloodletters are going to be super good in combat. Fury's coming in as well. Probably getting Furies to rear charge or attack the Spawn units I think is going to be quite good. Maybe using them a little bit more cautiously on the other side could have been slightly stronger. And now look at this. The Spawn are actually moving to the center, which means that the side objective can be taken by the forces of Outerregion. Outerregion seems to be out-trading a little bit. The Exalted Bloodletters are just absolute lawnmowers. They are at 76 models. Let's see what kind of value they've gotten. Only 300, but the fighting is still very early. And Scarbrand the Exiled's getting in there, giving the business to this Cultist of Khorne, which he did rampage. And the Herald, I think, is potentially in danger as well. Okay, no, the Herald's a little bit safer back. Scarbrand's going to want to pull back at this point. Is he rampaging? Ooh, he is in the danger zone. Scarbrand does soccer kick the Cultist of Khorne once again, but he's trapped in halberds by 3 SEMs. This could potentially be a throw by Outerregion. I think Outerregion's trading here is super good, but if Outerregion leaves Scarbrand to fight like 5 characters and a bunch of Spawn, I think that's going to be game blouses. So Scarbrand, nice little breath attack there. Trying his best to wear it. Yeah, this is a throw by Outerregion. He was winning this hardcore. Like, he's out-trading pretty much every facet of this engagement, but letting Scarbrand get circle beaten by Spawn, the 2 cultists as well as the Herald, I think is going to cost him the game. And that's why the values like it, because Outerregion was up by like 1,000 value right there, but with Farmbrand getting beaten down like this, that's going to be probably too much. Yeah, and he's trying to push out. You need to like zoom in and look. There's like an opening right here where Farmbrand could maybe escape. He's pumping them demonic legs, but he's really having problems. Now he's crumbling, and that is going to be incredibly tough. That's got to hurt. Now you can see the value for the Platypus is quite substantial, as I think some of the micros falling apart as well, because he's focusing on getting Scarbrand out, so he leaves these Fleshhounds actually over here to fight this 2v1 fight, and his doggos down here are going to be taken out as well. I have to say, Outerregion played a really, really tight early game. I think the trading was going in his favor here in this way. He baited out a summon. His Exalted Bloodletters are still grinding very well. But losing your Lord like that is going to be probably too much to come back from, especially if it's an expensive Lord. Like, if the Platypus had lost like a Herald, you're like, okay, that's bad, but it's not game over. But losing Scarbrand, like your big 3,000 gold plus Lord, is super, super rough. So spawn moving in, high ground objective is about to be taken as well by the menacing Platypus, and it looks like that is going to be a victory for the Platypus, so Scarbrand is pretty much banished to the warp here. More Bloodletters moving across. 2 cultists doing their thing. I mean, is there any way for Outerregion to kind of claw back in terms of value? I don't think so. I think it's going to be too hard. I mean, you still have the Herald and the 2 cultists here, and a pretty nice little blob there. And down to the back, we do have the Hounds of Khorne from Platypus and some Chaos Warriors who've made it over from their great exodus to capture this objective. So that one should be firmly in the hands of the Platypus. And the high ground objective is also going to be taken. Right now, Outerregion's just going to be grinding more and more units here. And trying... Romulan saying, that's game blouses, now let's have some pancakes. Dude, I would love pancakes. And that's going to be GG. Honestly, guys, really nice play from Outerregion up until the Lord getting trapped there. Like, his baiting was really good. His flank objective play was really good. But in the end, Platypus played a more stable, steady game and didn't make any like huge mistakes and was able to claim victory by taking down the Greater Demon of Khorne. So, GG, well played. And with that, we have a 2-0 victory for the Platypus, who's going to be moving on to the Grand Finals. Let us make it official on the dreaded Turin tournament bracket. We have Platypus versus Ulrich in a best-of-5 showdown, which is going to be quite a bit of fun. So, Platypus, please stay in the lobby. Let's go ahead and invite Ulrich and see who's going to win this tournament. Oh. Alrighty, so Ulrich is on the way. We will update the old nameplates and everything, and we'll be good to go. Thank you, thank you. The good times are here. The Khorne mirror match has ended. Alrighty. Cool. Very good. So Ulrich will be here soon. First map's going to be the Silver Spire. And we'll be all set. It is an RTK finals, that's correct. Yeah, we got, I believe Ulrich and Platypus are both in RTK. So if you take a look at the name here, let me show you guys something real quick about the RTK folks. So the S in the name means it's like a new recruit in the clan, but Platypus clearly earning some solid acclaim for the clan here, getting to the grand final. So it's going to be Silver Spire for the first map, and the players can do their picks and bans. Yeah, this is going to be great, man. 2 very, very strong players. I've noticed Scarbrand can be hard to know when to commit because he can die. He didn't die quickly there, though, guys. He was in halberds being beaten on by 3 SEMs, and he still fought for a long time. But yeah, with Scarbrand, you just have to be careful. And the reason why he got trapped was because of the Chaos Spawn. Chaos Spawn are one of the best units in the game at trapping big characters. They have really good mass and are super hard to get through. So, like, if you commit Scarbrand to an engagement where there's not, like, a big spawn presence, you're going to be fine. He can get away usually, but in that case, no. In that case, no. So, let's see what their first picks and bans are going to be. Okay, so, maps are... I just gave them the maps in the order that they're going to be there. So it's Silver Spire, Eye in the North, Death Pass, Broken Lake Gully, and Mountains and more. Cool. I got matched against RTK Bobman and ranked twice recently. Yeah, he's a really, really strong player. Really, really strong. Platypone. Yeah, I love it. Hey, Outerregion, well played. Dude, Outerregion, if you're in chat, man, your play was so good in the beginning. It just was the Scarbrand thing getting trapped. Like, you baited the summon, your Hound play was really good on the flank. Just a lot of good things. A lot of good stuff. Professor Pone says, he says, take that back, saying that the High Elves suck. You know, maybe High Elves will be good in Domination. Who knows? Who knows? So Ulrich is going to open with Ogres and Slanesh for his 2 picks. Okay. Very cool. Very, very cool indeed. Yes, good. Good, Anakin. We're also going to set up a section on the website sometime soon in the next update we do where it will have the... we're going to have a section for people in our community, in our Discord, as well as the channel, to upload their miniatures there somehow. Or they could submit them and then I'll upload them or something. So we can like show off our fantasy minis or our 40K ones, which would be pretty fun. Or D&D, whatever. You know, it's all good stuff. Cool. Alrighty. All set. Yeah, soul grinders are pretty rad. I love that. That Khorne soul grinder like killed a halberd unit by itself and was still fighting pretty well. Khorne is an excellent chess player because he has so many chaos pawns. Nice, dude. Nice. I like that. How do you decide what maps in what order? So I'm like typically in most like RTS tournaments, like the admins or the tournament organizer will just decide that. So that's basically what I did. High elves might be good in domination. Who knows? Like maybe Flamespire Phoenixes will be good, right? Like flying, fast gooning, can do like a bombardment on the objectives as well. Like, you know, you never know. You never know. Yeah. Hey, Pone, are you reliving the glory days? So I've been like Professor Pone and I have been like meeting up every night to play Dawn of War 2, and I have to say I'm definitely a little bit addicted. I'm like fiending to play more. Yeah, it's really fun. High Elf Ranger spam and good cav. Yeah, I think High Elves will be fine in domination mode. I'm trying to think who will suck in domination mode. I mean, I don't know. Depends on if Nurgle gets buffs. I think like Nurgle and all the other factions will probably get some DLC, so that'll make them better. So it's hard to say now. Like, who do you guys think is going to be the worst in domination mode? And like, what's your justification for that? It's easy to say High Elves because they always just kind of suck, you know? So that's like a safe bet. Plus they're so pompous, you know? It's always fun to hate on High Elves. Let's see. Who else? Who will suck in domination mode? If Norska doesn't get any updates, I don't know, they might be a little bit weaker than some factions for sure. Because Norska's roster is like just as bare as like the Nurgle roster. You know? Yeah, the aesthetic of High Elves is very cool. I agree. Vampires and domination? Oh yeah. I think that's a contender. If they don't add more open field maps, Vampire Coast might suck in domination, yeah. I don't know though, but like, here's the thing, Anticity. What if like you're playing Vampire Coast and your opening is like double gunnery white with like a lord, and then you have like gun bats and a couple zombies? Like that could be a really degenerate domination build, right? Yeah. Vampires have to rely on their sirens, and yeah, no, I think Vampire Coast is potentially a contender. But if they add more like open field maps, I think maybe Vampire Coast could be better. Norska. Ali, we're going to be streaming Dawn of War tomorrow, and then maybe Age of Empires the day after that. I'm not sure. Skaven are going to be amazing, I think. Dark Elves might not be bad. Scourge Runners are going to be really good. Like Scourge Runners will be sweet. Shades might actually be a huge underrated unit. Because the fact that Shades can kind of like creep and like sneak up on objectives and snipe characters off, maybe. I think Vampire Coast is a fair one. Vampire Coast, Norska. Yeah. Those are good guesses. So it's going to be Khorne versus Slaanesh in the first match, guys. We have Ulrich on Slaanesh and Menacing Platypus on Khorne. So Scarbrand I love in this matchup, but I know Platypus seems to like to play like wider builds with like... We saw Platypus win with Ogres playing super wide with like non-elite lords and characters. And then also playing very wide with Khorne as well. Beastmen will be pretty good, I think. Yeah, Beastmen will be very solid. You know, dwarves I think are going to be a map-dependent one. Because dwarves, like, if they have a map like where they can sit with a cannon and like defend both two positions very well, I think they'll be fine. Dwarves are going to suck probably on the ones with a lot of line of sight. I think Tomb Kings will be very good because Tomb Kings I think have like a lot of durable, you know, undead infantry that are unbreakable essentially, right? And good SEMs too. So like on the brawler maps where it's like all about like brawling and playing the not a lot of shooting. Ushapti Greatbow are going to be awesome too. Like Ushapti Greatbow are going to be great. They're like 54 speed. Like Maneater pistols are good. Ushapti Greatbows cost like what? Like 400 less or something, 300 less, and they like function in a very similar fashion, I suppose. Yeah, Nurgle's just always going to be the worst. It would be funny if Nurgle was like the perpetual meme. Although I think Nurgle will be good someday. My guess is that Carrot Shell, my guess is that Vampire Counts will be the absolute strongest faction in the game in domination mode. Which, you know, I think domination is the future of multiplayer. You know, I think like not having to police rules. I think once it gets like ironed out a little bit and maybe some like tweaks and changes, I think that's going to be the case. So, all right, guys. So, taking a look at the forces of Khorne here, it is going to be Scarbrand the Exiled. We got halberds and spawn. It seems to be the dedicated playstyle here for the Platypus, which is really good because if Slaanesh messes up and gets rampaged, it's pretty much game over here. So halberds spawn and they're going to go for the back objective. We do also have some Chaos Furies of Khorne, and for Ulrich Rahl, it is going to be a Shadowcaster with Pendulum and Enfeebling Foe. Not Pendulum, excuse me. The Pit of Shades. Pendulum is currently banned because it's very broken. But Pit of Shades is quite good against Halberd boxes. It will tear them to shreds and pretty much just wreck those units. We do have a bunch of Hellstriders. Exalted Demonettes? I love that. Exalted Demonettes are such a hard counter against Halberds. Oh my god. They tear them apart. They tear them apart. That's a thing of beauty right there. Marauders of Slaanesh Spears, moving and a grooving. And yeah, it's going to be good. I do think Nurgle will be quite good against some of the old world factions that are melee focused. Like, I think against Warriors of Chaos, I think against Beastmen, I think against Norska, like, Nurgle will totally have a fighting chance. Because, like, you know, obviously Beastmen can bring the Ungor Raiders, Norska can bring Javelins, but Nurgle can attack them with Furies and can also use the Stream of Corruption to kill them. So I think Nurgle will be very good against melee factions. Like, Nurgle is going to love fighting Game 2, a lot of Game 2 factions more. But Nurgle is going to hate fighting elves. Oh my god, like, imagine Nurgle versus Wood Elves. Like, no thank you. Unless they get some new units that are, like, a little bit tankier and have shields. Yeah, I don't think so. So yeah, both players playing very passive here, which I think is a good idea. Like, this is a matchup. This is like a... You guys remember the, like, old Western movies when they have that, like, standoff and, you know, they're playing the epic music, whether it be Once Upon a Time in the West or The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, like all those Outlaw Josie Wales, whatever. We could go on and on. But they have the standoff, right, where they're, like, staring at each other, and then it's over in 1 second, right? Like, one guy draws and takes down the other guy. That's basically what this matchup is in a nutshell. So you don't want to commit too early because Slaanesh, they're both hard-hitting, they're both fast, and it's usually over very quickly, like after the first engagement. One Halberd unit is going to be left back here for the Platypus, which should be enough. I mean, but what option I really, really like is Ulrich Rahl sending an Exalted Demonette down here, because those Demonettes will tear apart those Chaos Warriors so hard, which is going to be awesome. Yeah, those are some of my favorite Western movie. We've talked about this before, but definitely Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood, and then Once Upon a Time in the West with Charles Bronson. Those are probably my two favorites. Although, Tombstone with Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer. Those are probably my favorite Westerns of all time. Yeah, super good. So Scarbrand's moving up. Halberd's just kind of chilling. Obviously, you can see that Khorne is taking a little bit of a defensive approach here, like needing to be able to rotate down here. So you might have to leave a Cultist down here to help out, because an Exalted Demonette's going to come and butter some bread for sure. Objectives are opening up. Middle's going to be taken by Slaanesh. The back objective is going to be taken by Slaanesh as well. Templar Knight, thank you for becoming a member. Welcome to the Dukes of Haggard. Really, really appreciate it. But yeah, Khorne's going to have to decide how they want to partition their forces, right? And that's like the biggest challenge in this matchup that Slaanesh can make you kind of have to choose. It's like, do I commit like a big portion here and then get like owned in the back? Like it can be really, really confusing for sure. So here comes Scarbrand the Exiled. Does he have a breath attack? He does not. He just has the Rampage and the farming ability. So going to be looking to farm some Slaanesh soldiers. Herald of Slaanesh of Shadows and the Cav Force going down here. I love this response here from the Menacing Platypus. Able to get the Chaos Furies of Khorne to surround the hordes of Ulrich. So Ulrich is here. And the Chaos Furies plus a Cultist, I think that's probably enough. Like, plus the Halberds. And look at this. Oh, it's such good play. Like, the little details you're seeing here is just masterful. Hiding the Chaos Warrior Halberds on, like, the deep back objective there is so good. Because it forces Slaanesh to, like, overextend even more. And even though it might not seem like a lot, it does make a big difference for sure. And Khorne's going to be moving up, contesting the middle. Slaanesh is going to have to decide where it wants to take a fight. Is it going to be trying to Alpha Strike the back here? Or is it going to try and overwhelm the middle? And Khorne is very entrenched here, guys. Very, very entrenched for sure. But Slaanesh is all up in this backfield right now. Khorne Dogs are being sent in. Khorne Dogs pretty good. Obviously, could charge into the back of the Demonettes. Demonettes will just absolutely destroy these Chaos Warrior Halberds, though, especially if there's like a Pit of Shades on top of them. That's just going to be probably overkill, to be completely honest. But the Demonettes move in, and the Halberd boys going to be getting wrecked. Oh, Enfeebling Foe and Charmed. Their melee attack is 6, and their melee defense is 10 as they start to get absolutely massacred. But now Khorne is going to be unleashing a trick of his own as the Bloodletters are summoned behind the Demonettes, which are just buzzsawing through those Chaos Warriors. But of course, the Cultist here is going to be helping quite a bit. Furies descending from the unholy heavens, going to be attacking into the Cav. Very good against these anti-large Cav because they are infantry-sized. And will the Demonettes get it done? I don't think so with the surround. Khorne has a lot of units down here, and you can now see the Seekers of Slaanesh popping out and trying to overwhelm and help out down here. We haven't seen a Pit of Shades yet either, but the Demonettes really, really surprisingly durable. They have high melee defense at 44. Now in the middle, nothing's really happening. Khorne has taken that. We do have a 2-cap for Slaanesh, I believe. Yeah, no, let's see here. Yeah, a 2-cap for Slaanesh right now. So the Bloodletters are gone. Exalted Demonette's still going. And they might be able to kill this Cultist and these Chaos Warriors. Scarbrand has come down to help, but honestly the Chaos Fury is getting a little bit beat up, and not before they take down the Hellstriders of Slaanesh. Spawner being taken from the top to come down here and help. I mean, this fight is super important. In terms of value right now, it looks like Khorne is a little bit at... Oh no! Oh no. The Herald is potentially going to get rampaged here, which I think would be GG. Oh no, not like this. That is like the one thing you can't let happen, is have your Herald get caught out. Scarbrand is going to go so hard here in the paint. And now he's going to be dunking on this Herald of Slaanesh. And that probably is going to be GG for Ulrich. Like, that was a decent attempt here. I think maybe an Alpha Strike in the middle, like baiting this down here and then switching back to the middle could have been a little bit stronger. But like losing your caster, like and getting Scarbranded is just not a good feeling at all. Dude, just look how Chad he is. Oh, Scarbrand's such a cool character. His tabletop model's really cool too. Oh, did he just breathe on his axe? That's so cool. Like fired up. Yeah, so the Lord of Slaanesh got absolutely karate chopped there. And now the value differential is pretty big. Slaanesh doesn't have any magic. And yeah, this one I'm telling you is like, it's like super fast, super furious. The backfield dive didn't work out super well. I suppose the middle could have been a little bit more awesome. And I guess if the Slaanesh Lord hadn't died, the score would be pretty damn even right now. Like that Slaanesh Lord costs like 2,300, which is about the value differential, right? So Ulrich Rahl would probably be in a really good shape if he didn't lose the Lord. You know, he's actually winning in the middle. He's surrounding halberds and spawn. He's getting a kill on some of these hounds. But man, oh man, losing that Lord is going to be super, super rough. Especially like running it close to Scarbrand and having him rampage you. That's like super dangerous. So Scarbrand's moving up with the Fleshhounds. Going to be piling into the middle. And I think once Big Daddy Scarbrand gets involved, it's going to be tough. If Ulrich Rahl were able to come back from this, I would be mega impressed. That would just be insane. Khorne has the middle objective. The back objective is owned by Slaanesh, but not for long. These Chaos Warrior Halberds should be able to get that in a moment's time. Now Scarbrand's just going to be farming some souls. He's got 710 weapon strength. No biggie, just a casual 700 plus weapon strength. It's going to be moving across to try and lay a bit of a beating on the Cultists of Slaanesh, I would imagine. Taking out the characters one by one is going to be his prerogative. Halberds and Fleshhounds of Khorne surging in. We do also get some Spawn. Spawn will fight a little bit better against these Spears because of the Furies. The Furies are infantry size, so the Spears don't really do super well against them. Or maybe the Furies will just be left to their own devices to fight here. But now Scarbrand is fighting. It's going to take a pretty big miracle for Ulrich to bring this game back. That would be pretty huge. I mean, and that's the thing, like, Domination it's very different than land battles, but in some ways it's not. Like, obviously, if your Lord just gets karate chopped in the beginning of the game, unless there's equivalent value somewhere else, like, you're still probably going to lose the game. So it's not that different. Like, it can be decided by engagements and Lord Micro and all that kind of stuff. But Scarbrand is certainly a raid boss now. He's poisoned, which is lowering his weapon strength a little bit, but here the spears are being pushed off. I think Ulrich Rahl probably will surrender soon-ish, although this objective is still not being taken. What is the current score? So right now we have Slaanesh actually up by a lot. Okay, so maybe Slaanesh is going to go for a points victory, which is very possible. Khorne is going to have to send some infantry down here. It looks like they're mainly just value trading right now, which obviously isn't a bad idea. There's still a lot of time left, but got to be careful. Slaanesh can definitely play the objectives pretty crazy. Moving down here, threatening objective 1, causing problems all over the place. We will have to see. So Seekers of Slaanesh heading back here, just taking a defensive posture, looking to intercept whatever Khornate units they can. Scarbrand still farming up to 800 weapon strength there, so he's been able to get quite a few kills. And Slaanesh has a couple tattered units down here. We have the Hellstriders and whatnot, but really that's GG. So well played. The Platypus bringing some glory to the Blood God with a victory in game 1. GG. And it came down to the rampage, and that's just what I was telling you about in the pregame. I was like, if Scarbrand rampages your Lord with Slaanesh, you're gonna lose the game most likely, unless there's like some huge blunder somewhere else. All right, so game 1 in the best of 5 to the Platypus. Let us go ahead and switch and check the next map. The next map here is going to be, let me find it. Tournament chat. GG, well played. It's gonna be Eye in the North. Can't wait to get some new domination mode maps. We really need it. We need it bad. I'm too weak. All right, cool. Looks good. Time for some pancakes, dude. Oh my God, stop saying that, Romulan. You're making me want pancakes, dude. Oh God, I love pancakes. I used to eat like pancakes before my football practices when I was a kid, when I was like 12, 11, and I used to just get so sick at practice. Yeah, those are some wild times. Yeah, it was a GG, absolutely. Really good match. Eye in the North, Ogres are on the table for both players, so too is Tzeentch. I'm surprised we haven't seen much Tzeentch today. We haven't, yeah, we haven't really. Platypus looking to get into the top 3 on the leaderboard, which I believe if Platypus wins, Platypus will be taking over the number 2 spot in the tournament leaderboard. And then if Ulrich wins, he's taking over the number 2 spot. So he would be booting Evenstar down to rank 3. I tried your triple Exalted Bloodthirster build against Nurgle recently, and it worked like a charm. Hey, glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Vicious Satsuma says, GG, this is just an awful matchup for Slaanesh if the Khorne player knows what they're doing. I agree, Satsuma. I think it's favored for Khorne. But it can be won by Slaanesh. But it's the Slaanesh player has to work a lot harder than the Khorne player, in my opinion. Empire is going to be interesting on this game mode. Like, Volkmar on objective seems pretty good. Obviously, bringing flagellants, things like that, could be pretty impactful. Silver Bullet's kind of creeping up, getting some good shots. There's a lot of fun stuff. Before practice, that is. Turin, I used to eat a Wendy's triple burger before practice every day. Oh my god, that's serious, dude. That is serious for sure. Carrot Shell, that's not that far from the truth, except I didn't have a mullet. Unfortunately, I went to a high school that did. They were pretty strict with like dress code, and like they didn't let us have long hair. Yeah, so I didn't have any biblical hair until I was in college. Right now, my hair is mega long. It's like going down my back. Yeah, flagellants could be pretty good for holding objectives. Ulrich is going to be on Ogre Kingdoms, it looks like. Let's see what it's going to be. I just want to follow the tail of the tape here. Ogres and Cathay for Platypus. So is Platypus going to go for the Ogre mirror match against Ulrich, or is it going to be Grand Cathay? It's going to be interesting here. Wow, it's Cathay. Okay. So that is a bold pick. I mean, Cathay has some tools that are good against Ogres, but I still feel like Ogres are favored here. This map is a really good Cathay map, though. The cannons are amazing, and they can just bombard like the entire Ogre position. So it's going to be Grand Cathay versus Chungus Kingdoms. Dude, if we saw a Cathay victory against Ogres today, I would be shocked. I would be shocked. Brian says, I've definitely thrown up pancakes at a cross-country event. Yeah, man, it's a rite of passage for all of us athletes out there. All right, so Templar Knights. Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed that, boss. So Templar Knight asks, and thank you for the donation, your thoughts on Lizardmen in domination mode. Let's see. So I think Lizardmen are going to be amazing. Here's why. They have really good durable infantry in Saurus. They have amazing stealth units. Chameleon Stalkers, oh my god. You're defending your back objective with like some goblins or like chaff, and then suddenly Chameleon Stalkers creep in with a steel chair and kill them using the precursor ammo. They have amazing SEMs. They have great healing, great lords. Like, Lizardmen are going to be an absolute beast in domination mode. An absolute beast. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question, bud. Sorry I missed that. I was like super hyper-focused on the game there, but yeah. Lizardmen are going to be like, I think, A plus S tier faction in domination. They just have so many tools. They have so many tools. Such a diverse roster. Like, units that you wouldn't think would be good might actually be good. That's what's cool about domination. It opens up a lot of like new unit options that weren't good before. Like, you didn't see shades being commonly used, but now I think like with Dark Elves, they might be a staple to have like 2 shades in your army. Lizards for sure are going to be S tier. Hopefully they make Demogryphs useful in domination. Demis will be good. Like, Bear Cav are occasionally used. Like, Demis are basically the same thing. So I think Demogryph Knights will be fine. I think so, Templar Knight. Grand Cannons is my guess, most likely. Ogres usually will probably just spam Gorgers and try and like pin you. Because Cathay can usually outvalue the Ogre Kingdoms, but the problem is escaping your spawn zone. It's very difficult. Yeah, Greenskins are going to be good too. I mean, so many of the old world factions are going to be good. I can't wait to see what the meta looks like. I can't wait to see that. The Thunderous One, you know who's going to be the epic. The Shredder of Lustria will arise from the ashes once more. Robert B says, used to wrestle and after weigh-ins, everyone would smash McGriddles. Oh my god, how would they not get sick? I guess they just had stronger stomachs than I did. Like, before football games, I always ate pretty clean. Afterwards, of course, feasting, but... CPay says, I got recommended a video named The Shroud of Turin, something I've seen in... That's pretty funny, yeah. Yeah, that's a biblical thing there. Ulrich Rawl is here. The Menacing Platypus as well. Game 2. The clanmates have dueled. Clearly, the Platypus is new to the RTK clan, so it's the Obi-Wan versus Anakin duel. Currently, Anakin is getting the upper hand with a 1-0 lead, taking a very, very Chad pick of Grand Cathay, which I'm super excited for. So for the Ogre Kingdoms, it is going to be a Slaughtermaster backed up by double Stonehorn Hunter, I would imagine, and then some Iron Fists. And for Cathay, it's going to be what appears to be a Dragon-Blooded Lord of Yang and a ton of archers and spears. Yeah, man, it's time. Let's have some fun. I definitely miss playing high school football. It's not like the playing is fun, but also the camaraderie with like your team and all that. That's a really fun aspect of things that you kind of like lose in your adult life. I had a couple friends on my high school football team like join the Marine Corps, and a couple went to police and fire, and like I've talked to them about it, and they're like, yeah, I still kind of get that through my job, that camaraderie and brotherhood, but like a lot of people just kind of lose that as they get older, which is rough. So I've seen this tech against Grand Cathay, and the reason why Stonehorn are actually quite good against Terracotta is because they have anti-large spears on top, and they're also very fighty. So we got double Stonehorn Hunter, and also like basic archers do not kill Stonehorns very effectively. You need either Iron Hail Gunners or cannons, or Terracottas and Halberds, I guess, do an okay job. Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw and some Ogre Bulls. Now for the Grand Cathay army here, it is going to be a bunch of Peasant Long Spearmen and archers. Oh my god, this looks like a campaign deployment. Like, what is this? Like, it's just like a giant line deployment. The Dragon-Blooded Lord does have the damage buff as well as the Noblar clearing spell. I believe the Stonehorns have stock. Oh my god. It's the Crouching Tiger. Hidden Hunter. Oh no, because they have the Noblar Thief Stone, which gives them stock and unspottable. Oh my god. Guys, this is so troll. But now it's been revealed. The Stonehorn Hunter has been spotted by the Dragon-Blooded Lord. Cathay's going to need some like Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen or something. Like their basic archers, I don't think they're going to do super good against these guys. Like this campaign deployment here seems like it's going to just get crumped. Oh no. No, not like this, Platypus. Please don't let it happen. What's going to happen here is Ulrich is going to use the bombardment spell on the hunters to just wreck this line formation. Oh my god, no. Split the units up. Don't stay in this formation. You need to switch. It's not going to work out well for you. It's not. Hey, but at least Cathay is being aggressive, and now we got cannons coming in. So cannons are going to be able to shoot downtown at these guys. Ernesto, building my Chaos Rhino while watching the tournament. Thanks for keeping the multiplayer scene going. Hope a collab with Italian Spartacus is on the horizon. I am trying to get him. He's very busy. And he's like, more particular with the games he plays. I've been trying to do things with Sparty, though. I can assure you. Thank you so much, Ernesto. Okay, now he split up his formation, which is good. The Grand Cannon is on the table, so at least Cathay is going to have some good stopping power. And now we are seeing the Iron Hail Gunners. So there's going to be some good stopping power coming in from Grand Cathay. First archer units are shooting in to the old Stonehorn down here. There's going to be Troll Guts as well. And, oh, an Iron Blaster's on the table. Now that cannon certainly has a new prize. Will the menacing Platypus see the Iron Blaster? Find out on the next episode. As looks like the Hunter's going to be moving back here. We got Halberds, Jade Warriors, Crossbowmen, and the Iron Hail Gunners going to be trying to intercept that bad boy. Stone Hunters have very, very good mass. And look at the Stonehorns just creeping around. Oh my god, that thing just went Secret Agent! The Stonehorns crept around the side. Now, one of them's going to get crumped, but I think this cannon's just straight up going to die. Or the Stonehorns are going to come for the Gunners, yeah, maybe. So Iron Hail Gunners ripping some big shots, and talk about cost effective. Grand Cathay is getting some really good value here, but will they be able to peel these guys from back here? Oh no, the other Stonehorns coming in, the cannonball's coming in, a huge shot on the Iron Hail Gunners, big damage. Well, the Halberds chase, Grand Cathay is going to be holding on to this objective. The cannon is still online, but who knows for how long. Iron Hail Gunners, though, are doing great work. It's so cool to see Cathay being used well. And yeah, now they're getting run over by the Hunters, but the other Iron Hail Gunners should be able to turn around and do some work there. And the rest of the Cathay forces should be able to secure the objectives. Although we do have Ogre Bulls with Iron Fists who look to be back-capping Cathay here. Now, this one is wavering. It's got 0 leadership. Halberds are being summoned in on all sides. The cannon, I believe, is still functional at this point. And one of the Stonehorn Hunters is taken out. The menacing Platypus coming in with a very, very strong play here. And one Stonehorn does actually get shattered off the battlefield. Now, the question is, Cathay pretty much always loses on the objectives, in my experience. But has the Platypus found another way to kind of play the objective game? We do Ogre Bulls with Iron Fist moving in. Spears should be able to intercept them. The Crouching Tiger, Hidden Stonehorn, is on the run. Peasant Horseman going to be trying to intercept, provide some mass. And Cathay really needs to get some Halberds on that objective there. They really, really need to get the objectives going. The middle's pretty well secured. Iron Blaster shooting into what appears to be the cannons. Cannon's going to be returning fire, but obviously I think unsummoning that cannon and getting a new one probably would be the prudent choice. And here, Ogres with Iron Fists just being swarmed. I think there's a couple too many spears here. I think you probably want to split those up. Archers just shooting from all sides. Stonehorn's going to get the Troll Guts, and the back objective should be taken by Grand Cathay here very, very soon. Currently, Cathay is up by about 1,000 value, but that doesn't really mean too much for Grand Cathay. Ogres have healing too, so they can mitigate that value pretty effectively. And both of the Iron Hail Gunners are hunting down that Stonehorn right there, which is hilarious. And it looks like these Ogre Bulls are going to be getting peppered by the Peasant Archers pretty heavily, and though they do have the shields, if they're facing the wrong direction, the shields obviously aren't going to be helping them, so Grand Cathay, Netflix and chilling in the middle objective with some peasant spears, and here they have their halberds and archers kind of hanging out. So Cathay does have the double objective. The cannon is broken, so I would imagine the Platypus is going to be unsummoning that. And the Stonehorn has retreated to the edge of the map. Now Cathay really has to prepare for the counterattack. They need to entrench these positions down here because the ogres are coming to get you, and they're looking to eat. One spear unit is sent up to shut down the Iron Blaster. They're obviously going to get wrecked pretty bad by the ogres and Noblars, but they'll at least hold for a minute and be able to kind of keep the ogres at bay. Archer's going to be shooting down. Stonehorn Hunter Barrage shall be used, but the Iron Hail Gunners are pretty split up there, so it didn't really do too much. Wouldn't be surprised to see Cathay go for the back objective as well. I think they're pretty safe here. I think the Halberds plus the Jade Warrior dudes are going to do the trick. Iron Blaster is still very much on the table, and Spears are going to be intercepting the Ogre units, while these Spears up here fight a pretty cost-effective fight, actually, but of course being taken down. Now Grand Cathay really needs to make sure to hold on to these objectives, because if the Ogres wrestle the objectives, it could be very tough for Grand Cathay to get back on the old game here. Halberds potentially going to be attacked by the Ogre Bulls with Iron Fist. We do have dual weapons moving and more Iron Fist moving there. Jade Warrior Halberds going to be surging onto the objective, being shot by the Iron Blaster here. Oh, and the Ogre Power Fist! Oh, the campaign blob! Dude, that got so much value for Ulrich right there, but still, they're still shooting, so it's not the end of the world. And the Ogres are actually kind of pushed off the objective, but not before they capture it. So they get the objective, they pull back. Cathay really needs to just get those units on the objective and try and hold that, right? Halberds fighting like champs. I think that, and by the way, if you guys are a Cathay player, you have to turn off formation attack on everything. It makes your units fight exponentially worse if you have it on, so make sure to turn that off. But I think Cathay will be able to hold the back objective. Ogre's attempting to break through with a bunch of Ogre Bulls, but the Halberds will probably hold firm. And now Grand Cathay is going to be able to wrestle this objective. Are we going to be seeing a Cathay victory? Clearly, I think that the Menacing Platypus has been practicing and scheming some builds against Ogre Kingdoms, because I've never seen a build like this. Pretty much the standard Cathay fare against Ogres is like double, cannon opening, but like a wide spear and like archer build seems to be pretty good. Power Fist coming down, but not going to do too much, I don't think. Let's see. Yeah, it did some okay damage, but the peasants were able to get past it. And now there's Iron Hail Gunners, there's cannons bombarding, so the Cathay Grand Cannons are back, shooting into the Iron Blaster here, and it looks like Grand Cathay... Okay, this is something that we almost never say. It would appear that Grand Cathay is slowly starting to take over this game. That's like the first time I think I've ever said this in a Domination Mode tournament, especially in the Grand Finals with two of the most competitive players in the community, right? But Grand Cathay is beating Ogres. Wow, crazy stuff. So the Ogre Kingdom's moving in with some Bulls, but the Halberds and the positioning has been very solid. Iron Hail Gunners kind of on standby to try and deal with the Hunters here, but it looks like the Chungus Kingdoms are going to be unleashing a very aggressive push here on the middle objective, and they might be able to get it. Cathay doesn't have too much down there. They got some Peasant Archers moving, a little bit over-committed to the back, so I think some of those guys are going to have to move over to the middle right now. The score is close enough that Ogres could still 100% get back in this game. So the Spears, I believe, have slightly more capture weight. Yeah, and you can see some of the Jade Warrior Halberds are kind of sitting on the objective. Iron Hail Gunners also moving back there, and it looks like the Ogres are going to be getting triple capped by Cathay. So yes, the cap is going to be going for Grand Cathay in a second, and there it is. So the forces of the Dragon Emperor have done quite well. The middle objective, though, going much better for the Ogres as there's a bit of a mass rout here. The Peasants do get routed off. The Hunter moves in. The formation there was a little bit tricky, right? So they kind of paid the iron price. And now Cathay is going to have to find a way to slowly push back to the middle, because the fact that they have the triple cap does give them a little bit of cushion. Iron Blaster here, taking some shots, but it's almost out of ammo. It looks like we do have some Lead Belchers also being summoned in, so very nice Ogre Overwatch down here on this this position here. But Cathay is holding on to the back, so I mean, yeah, Cathay. Oh, and the Power Fist again! Oh, the blobbed up Cathay forces are getting punished so badly. And guys, the Ogres are actually getting back in terms of value. 7,000 to 6.3. Cathay has a lot of archers. Are they going to be moving back here and trying to press? We'll see. Nolosi, thank you for the $10. Really appreciate it. Hope all is well. Hope life is treating you good. Thank you, thank you. So Cathay Halberds are moving up, holding this flank. I think objective number 3 is safe, more or less, but they have to find a way to get the middle objective back. The back one is still in the hands of Grand Cathay. If Cathay can find a way to get enough points where Ogres need a triple cap, I think that could be the bread-winning play. The Iron Blaster is being unsummoned, so a lot of stopping power for the Ogre Kingdoms is about to be taken off the battlefield. Ogre Bulls pressuring into the back, but are being taken down by crossbows and halberds, and Peasant Horsemen are also a decent tool for rear-charging Ogres and Saber Tusks, and they give you mass, right? Because otherwise Ogres can kind of just push through your units and pretty much do whatever they want here. But Halberds and the Peasant Archers are trying to hold on to Objective 1. There still are some Cathay Spearmen here, and also some that maybe overchase. No, those are Noblars back there. But yeah, this objective is going to be taken by Ogres in a matter of seconds. And the Ogre Kingdoms also do have the middle objective as well. So Cathay is going to have to find a way to wrestle control of that. The value is pretty much dead even at this point, which is really not good for Grand Cathay. They need to have a little bit of a lead on the Ogre Kingdoms in my experience. And yeah, the crossbows are going to rip shots into the Hunter here, but the Stonehorn is an absolute raid boss to take down, right? You need Iron Hail Gunners, you need all those types of tools. There's only one cannon online here as well. But the Ogre army kind of rampaging here. The Dragon-Blooded Lord providing some combat buffs as needed. It looks like the Harmony is currently active here because we do have some archers nearby, I think, fighting. Yeah, it looks like some of the archers that are getting hammered there are retreating. Turtle Punch, thank you for the donation. Once we get the old factions back, are there plans for a Legendary Lord tournament? Yeah, we'll definitely do all that kind of stuff again. Absolutely, man, and thank you so much for the donation. Yeah, Stonehorn Hunter is a big problem, and look at that. The Butcher ability from the Ogre Kingdom, so beautiful there. That heals so much. It heals so much HP. It's pretty much going to top that thing off. And I feel like once Cathay has kind of lost its formations, it's really going to be struggling to actually bring down some of these bigger threats. Like when they're in a uniform formation, they can definitely do it a little bit better, but now the Ogres are almost even threatening the back objective. We do get some Halberds for Grand Cathay, some Jade Warrior Halberds on the middle objective, but Gorgers will tear them to shreds. Gorgers are just the unholy nightmare, and they finally appear in the later stages of the game. If Cathay could park some like Jade Warrior crossbowmen right here, but they're being threatened on so many fronts. You can see Ogre Bulls are all over the place. I think Cathay wins with just one objective, but it looks like, let's see, yeah, Ogres have several, and they're threatening this cap right now. Cathay does have some decent crossbow action here, and some Peasant Horsemen are going to be surging down to try and break these Ogre Bulls with Iron Fists. Do we have anything coming from here? We do have some Peasant Long Spearmen. This game's getting really, really stressful. Oh my goodness. This objective, though, could potentially be taken. The Gorgers are actually going for the backfield one, and letting Cathay get this objective could be a pretty colossal mistake for sure. But yeah, Ogres are really wrestling control of this back objective. Grand Cathay is only going to hold it a little bit longer. Halberds are still fighting. They do have the Might of Heaven and Earth, which is going to imbue them with some extra combat stats. Peasant Spears are surging in from all directions, and that Stonehorn Hunter is proving to be a big problem. I think we need to see another Iron Hail Gunner. That Grand Cannon also still going like a champ, but is it going to be enough? We'll have to see. Man, Ogres definitely do not want to let Grand Cathay take that. They do not. But it looks like Grand Cathay is just barely going to get this middle objective. Ooh, you better stay there, Platypus. This is like your saving grace right here. If the Platypus can get this objective, at least Cathay has a place to fall back. And they do capture it. But now Noblars are moving on to that point right here. Ogres are going to need a triple cap to win this, correct. Especially since they just traded here. But, ooh, nice little Dragon's Breath right there. While the Halberds are going to move in. And Ogres, though, winning many, many engagements here. Jade Warrior Halberds, maybe move them over to that objective. I think this back one is belonging to the Chungus Kingdom. So we do have some Iron Hail Gunners being summoned as well, which could move in and definitely drop some big firepower on these units if they aren't harassed. We got some basic Jade Warriors fighting Ogre Bulls, which doesn't feel terribly good. And I don't know how long those Halberds are going to be holding here. They're being attacked by a Stonehorn. Also, the Cathay Lord really can't lend much support. And Cathay is now back on the objective here. And the Ogres are rushing off of it. Some of the Jade Warrior crossbowmen trying to move up while the Halberds hold valiantly as hard as they possibly can. And look at this, the back cap from the Peasant Horsemen. I love this play. Because the Ogres have such like a hard-on to just push these other two objectives that this could actually slip through and potentially grab that one objective there. Cathay Lord still lending a hand in combat, but this objective is going to be going to the Chungus Kingdoms, while this one is now being contested by Grand Cathay again. So the Ogres definitely being a little bit reckless and not staying on the objectives as much. Ulrich Rahl has pulled ahead in value. Now Cathay is really fighting from behind, trying to just scrap wherever they can and pull out these little cheeky plays. And now this objective goes to the Ogre Kingdoms. 35 to 42. I think a 2-cap would probably do the trick right now, for sure. This one, very, very close to going to Grand Cathay. But if Grand Cathay can get the triple cap, even if just for a second, if they get that back objective, maybe sending another Peasant Horseman over there would be a good trick. But this one's very, very close to being captured. We got Iron Hail Gunners moving on to the objective here. More and more Ogres. I think sending these Peasant Horsemen to intercept this Ogre contingent here would be very, very strong. And Cathay really needs this objective. They really, really need it. They have the capture weight. It's going. You need to block these guys. You need to roadblock them. They need to be blocked off the objective. I think Cathay has a couple like beat up spears coming back. And is he given the order? The Ogre Bulls are about to get on it. And one more tick and it should be for Grand Cathay. But the Ogres, oh my God. The Ogres just barely get it. Because he didn't block them with the Peasant Horseman. That would have been just the biggest MLG play of all time. That might have won him the game, actually. Maybe, yeah. You know, I think if he had gotten that, I think Grand Cathay could spam spears on it and could hold it. But now that the Ogre Kingdoms have wrestled control, I think that's going to be GG. Well played. He's ready for another OBS feed of only... Oh my God, not again. Because, like, Cathay got this back objective, guys. They got it. If the Ogres had been ripped off this objective and Cathay had taken it, that one tick, I think Cathay wins this game. Oh my God, what a close match. And Platypus withdraws. That game was so close. Oh my God. If those Peasant Horsemen had moved up and blocked those Ogres, that would have been a Cathay win. They would have taken the back objective and they would have had that one for enough time probably to win the game. Man, just one small misplay. But it's so hard because Ogres are so much stronger than Cathay. So you're trying to balance and manage all these units Whereas Ogres can just spam things on objectives. Oh, man, dude. What a close match. What a close match. Really cool opening build as well, because Ulrich Rawl's build is very nasty, right? Iron Hilt Gunners, all those guys did really good. Yeah, very good game. Very, very good game indeed. 1-1. We got a series. Anakin and Obi-Wan continue their duel. And let's go ahead and switch the map. The map here is going to be Death Pass. And there it is. Cool. Yeah, I think Cathay could have won that maybe. It would have been really close. Could have been really, really close. Platypus played super well in that game, for the record. Like, to be able to bring it that close to the Ogre Kingdoms with Cathay is really impressive at the high level. That was a wild one. That was a wild game. GG, well played. So, the Death Pass is the map. And we proceed on to the next Duel of Fates. Hopefully you guys are enjoying these grand finals. These have been really good. And those are little tricks in domination mode that you don't think of in land battles, but, you know, obviously, like, blocking people off objectives and things like that. Ogre Bulls have the same capture weight as an infantry unit. So if you have a Noblar, it has the same capture weight as an Ogre Bull. An Ogre Bull has the same capture weight as an Empire Spearman, for example, which costs 200 less. And also, the Empire Spearman beats Ogre Bulls. So, like, that's how they work. Yeah, we're having fun. Time for a Nurgle Mirror. Oh my god, I would be so excited to see Nurgle here. I would be so excited. I thought that Cathay build was pretty solid. Yeah, because it baits out certain things, and then you can counter them with like the Iron Hails and the cannons and whatnot. Yeah, Platypus played super well. That's a really hard matchup. But Ulrich is a super tough opponent, right? So you gotta play perfect to beat him on ogres, unless it's like an ogre mirror match, and then it's just kind of random. But did the Shogun 2 campaign build win? Almost, but it just lost barely in the end. No, you know what, Pedro? You're saying that it's a questionable build to use the double Stonehorn Hunters. It's not. That's actually that's become kind of meta against, not meta against Cathay, but they're used quite a bit against Cathay. Because they have stock, so they can close in on the cannons before Cathay can deal with them. It's actually really crazy. Oh. You still see, okay, I gotta update the leaderboard, sorry guys. Thank you. Finals. This is a best of 5, man. It's best of 5. Got a lot of action today. And there we are. Cool. We need more Ogre mirrors to bring down their win rate. I want a Nurgle mirror match. Give me the Nurgle mirror match all day, man. It'd be great. Your high-tech overlay did an update to the semifinal. I know, I got it. Gianluca, thank you. What is the picks going to be? I'm curious. So let's go to the Discord and see what they've done. Korn and Tzeentch for Ulrich Rawl. Okay. Platypus, probably going to not pick Nurgle. Maybe Ogres. Yeah, I think you just go. Well, actually, Tzeentch actually does very well against Ogre Kingdoms. Yeah, Iron Hail Gunners are pretty good, but their range is very short, yeah. It's kind of hard to protect, like, Cathay, like, maybe a Cathay Dragon Lord there. I felt like the Cathay Lord wasn't, like, super awesome, but he did allow for a wider build, because it was very cheap, right? The Nurgle Mirror is always funny. It's just hilarious. It's just, like, it's just a meme. Yeah, it's just a meme. Yeah, that's a good point. LOL, yeah. That is a good point. So Platypus is on the counter pick now. So we have Tzeentch. Platypus is going to go for Tzeentch. And then Ulrich can choose between Korn and Tzeentch. So we either get a Tzeentch mirror match or we get a Korn one. And obviously we don't have that many factions in the game right now, so mirror matches are going to be way more common. Like in Warhammer 2, they were very rare because we have a ton of faction diversity. But in this, with like, you know, considering only like 5 really competitive factions, you're going to see a lot more mirror matches. Professor Pone, yes. Yeah, Professor Pone and I had some really fun games in Dawn of War where he would play Imperial Guard and just have like a massive tank line with like entrenched positions, and I just had a bunch of haggard, you know, chaos melee units to protect him, and we were just like holding the middle objectives. It was really fun. Yeah, Brian Chaney, I think that'd be nice. I think a range increase would be cool for them. I wonder if Ulrich is going to go for the Korn match versus Tzeentch, or if he's going to go for Tzeentch Mirror. I would probably guess Tzeentch Mirror. It depends on how good the Platypus is at Tzeentch. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think Gorgers should be giving flying too. Gorgers should be able to fly. Imagine if they could. That would be super balanced. The dreaded flying Gorgers. Oh yeah, and we have April Fools too coming up, right? The holidays always kind of like, yeah, it's an annoying one. You just get like all these like fake hype things. Like I remember last year there was like on like this Facebook group I follow that covers the Warhammer Fantasy and Old World. There was like a post saying that a fake post saying that Games Workshop like revealed a bunch of models for Old World, and I actually believed it when I first woke up at like 7 a.m. I was like, no. Yeah, that sucks. I have a fun idea for it this year. It's going to be like obviously very obvious, but it's going to be a Tzeentch mirror match. Yeah, classic. And Death's Pass, I think, is the map right now. Let me go and double check that for you. The Tzeentch mirror. And again, the thing about the Tzeentch mirror match, guys, in my experience, is whoever goes the widest usually wins. But I mean, if they go wide, it'll obviously come down to control and decision making and spell casting and all that. It is a troll holiday for sure. That was a cruel one. Like some guy made a post like saying, "Oh look, Games Workshop revealed a bunch of like models for Old World that are new." Like, and I was like, "Yes, finally." And it was just it was fake. Kislev is very good against Tzeentch. I don't know why we're not seeing Kislev more. I feel like Kislev is really strong in domination. Give Gorgers stock and Perfect Vigor. Well, Templar Knight, they already have stock. But yeah, Perfect Vigor would be another one. There was basically 1 year when April Fool's Day on the internet was clever and fun, and now it's just overdone. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. A new patch for Warhammer 3. Did you give yourself a spring break this year? No. I pretty much work 5 or 6 days a week. But like the thing is, like, there's times when it feels like work, but like most of the time it doesn't, you know? The only aspects of like doing YouTube for a living that feel like work to me are probably when I have to do like taxes and like, you know, go through all my receipts and like do all the write-offs and all that. Like, yeah, that's like the annoying part of like, because it's still kind of you're running your own business, so you have to like do all that kind of stuff. That's like the most annoying aspect of things. And sometimes my voice gets tired and then I can get a little bit like worn out. Yeah, but it's still, it's like it's super fun. They should give Gorgers the ability to leap. Like Gorgers, you should just like have this ability where you can like click somewhere else and they'll just like jump through the air and like land there, you know? So like when somebody brings something that can counter them, like an archer unit, Gorgers just fly through the air and land on top of them. And they do like splash attack when they land, you know? I think that's the next step. Or they should just have Gorgers riding a Dread Saurian. Like they just have like a Dread Saurian, but like on the side of it, there's like little handles where the Gorgers just ride on the side and they just like claw and attack everything like next to the Dread Saurian. Yeah. the Dread Saurian Gorger. Yeah, that'd be pretty insane. Or you could have like Queen Bess could just shoot Gorgers at people. Like imagine if like every Queen Bess shot was like a squad of Gorgers and it just like lands and just devastates whatever it lands near. I always love the power fantasies that we have in chat, like talking about like unit balance, you know? You could have a Gorger driving a skull cannon, but every shot fires a single Gorger, and then when the Gorger gets in melee, it respawns its ammo. Yeah, no fun allowed. Absolutely. They need Raptor jump packs. Yeah, 40k jump packs. Or they could also give Gorgers Thunder Hammers. You know, they just give them like a huge Thunder Hammer from 40k. Give them some Space Marine armor while you're at it. Gorgers with chainswords. Yeah. Oh man. Didn't help it spawn regular clan rats at first? I'm not sure actually. Dread Saurian Gorger, but it has stock, yeah. They should Creative Assembly should just remove all the counters to this unit, so it can be truly supreme. Man. Like that's something else too. Like obviously, I'm sure Creative Assembly has testers for like campaign, like QA testers, but I feel like they don't test the multiplayer stuff very much. Like it's still reasonably balanced considering how many factions, but like I would love to put together like a team of people to like help with that balance stuff before stuff comes out, man. Oh, I would love that. I would do it for free too. I would straight up help balance for free. Every unit model a Gorger kills becomes another Gorger. Oh my god. Imagine that. Yeah, so they're like zombies. Why don't they have that in this game? For like Nurgle? I feel like Nurgle should have something like that. Like if they take something out. Yeah. What if we had 3 Gorgers all stacked on top of each other's shoulders wearing a giant trench coat and we just call it, yeah, we just call it one unit. Yeah. Flamestar, oh, a rebirth ability. So right when you think you're about to kill the Gorger, it just like respawns with full health and like nukes everything around it. Like, surprise! Okay, so we actually have a little bit of build variety here. We have a Forsaken style build with blues and a cultist, and then we have just a purely demonic build, which is substituting in a exalted pink horror, which are actually deceivingly strong in combat. Deceivingly strong. Vargeist, yeah, that's what Vargeist should be, Flying Gorgers. Yeah, basically, right? They're kind of like in the family. Yeah, Ogre Kingdoms are pretty OP in campaign. I played a campaign on my own time recently with Scrag, and I just got like a Gorger stack and just like literally auto-resolve spammed and just steamrolled everything. It was pretty mouth-breathy. It was definitely pretty mouth-breathy. Yeah, you could do like Stonehorns with like Gorgers, just like super impressive stuff. All right, so looking at the forces of Ulrich, we do have a demonic army. It's going to be blues and pinks to the sunset, backed up by a herald up in the sky. And for the Lord, I think that's a herald, yeah. So there actually is a standard Lord for Ulrich. Ooh, and Final Transmutation, I actually like that, because this matchup can get a little bit blobby. Now looking at Menacing Platypus, it's going to be a Forsaken build with blues and less pinks. So basically Ulrich has like more pinks and more shooting, but a little bit less durability, whereas the forces of Menacing Platypus are wider with less firepower, but more like melee aggression. Turin, I think it would be cool if trappers actually allow you to lay pre-game traps. That would be really cool. Or not even pre-game, but if they could just like lay little traps down during the game, I think that'd be really, really cool. Yeah. Yeah, if Nurgle had a unit like Gorgers, they would actually be good. Like, if Nurgle had like some Beast of Nurgle unit that was like multiple of them and they like had that stat line, Nurgle would actually be a good faction and would be seen in tournaments, I think. So blues, pinks, Forsaken on standby. The reason why you summon in the Cultist is for the really OP summon here, because for like 500 gold, you get the Cultist, or 600, I can't remember. And then you summon a blue or a pink, which costs 700 gold. You get a Power Stone. You unsummon him. You get a refund of like 350. And it's just so cost effective. So Tzeentch players love doing this. And we're going to be seeing it twice. Yeah, we have 2 summons. And another really cool synergy I like from the Menacing Platypus, if you guys are Tzeentch players, is you use Kindle Flame. So Kindle Flame is the passive from Lord of Fire. And what it does is, that's kind of a strange bombardment choice there. Like, it's a little bit early. Although if those Forsaken run into it, yeah, okay, they dodge it. I guess it, oh, okay. So Ulrich used the bombardment. That is like a 500 IQ play. I would not have thought of that. He used the bombardment to force the blues to run forward, right? Like the instinct response, and then he bombards them with the pinks there. That was actually a really, really cool play. But the Lore of Fire passive is called Kindle Flame, and what Kindle Flame does is it actually makes the entire enemy army 12% weaker to fire, if I'm not mistaken, or 20%. So all of your blues and pinks are going to be doing like exponentially more damage, which is quite cool. So now the battle's underway, and look at the DACA. Oh my god, the Exalted Pinks and the regular Pinks just blasting into those blues there, but it still doesn't kill them. Man, that's crazy how durable they are. But the Forsaken are going to be hammering forward, and there is going to be summons coming down on both sides. As Pink Horrors are summoned a little bit far back, they're going to have to waddle up to get their shooting on. But obviously the army of Menacing Platypus is going to be much more aggressive here, and I think it's well designed that way. But the problem is that you're going to be fighting in Ulrich's territory, which means he's going to be getting slightly better reinforcements and all that sort of stuff. Ulrich does summon his first waves of Forsaken, and the other Forsaken are going to be moving in. So now we get the Forsaken on Forsaken battle. But the Forsaken of Menacing Platypus are afflicted by a Plague of Rust, but also they get Cascading Fire Cloak, which is going to help. A really nice play there by Ulrich, lowering their armor. And now the other one's finally going to be catching their prize. Forsaken are obviously faster than the blues and will get on top of them in melee. But Ulrich kind of buying time, kiting backwards and summoning more and more units, and certainly I think is getting the better of these engagements. Like his Forsaken unit didn't take too much. Cascading Fire Cloak going down, and now the pink fire support coming in from Menacing Platypus will be unleashing the colors of the rainbow. It's like watching a Skittles battle here as they all do glorious combat. Chaos Furies of Tzeentch looking to probably shut down the Exalted Pinks if they can. On this side, looks like Menacing Platypus being overextended and punished a little bit, while Ulrich does pull a pretty substantial value lead. So we're basically watching a land battle right now, guys. This isn't like a domination game, this is a land battle, which is fine. Like, if the objectives are there to keep you honest, to make sure players don't draw kite and things like that. So I actually totally think it's fine if domination games become more like land battles. Like, I think that's kind of what people, were looking for in the first place in many ways, right? So shooting here in the back, going in, both sides just unleashing a hellish amount of DACA on one another. Value is closing, as Menacing Platypus does, of course, have more Forsaken, which seem to be grinding okay, but the summons will be dissipating soon. I believe these pinks are a summon? No, those are the actual ones. I don't know where the other ones went. It looks like they might have desummoned already. But so far, a little bit hard to tell what's going on. The banners are very, very similar. I don't know if there's any better choices they could have chosen in terms of the banners. Here, the iron bombardment. What is it called? The Searing Doom. That's right, from the old Herald of Tzeentch. Top of the blues here. Menacing Platypus. Ooh, nice bombardment there. Breaks through the shields of the cultist here. And it looks like disc and cackling. What is that going to be? Is that going to be... Oh, no. Not a dreaded drop. Don't you dare do this. Don't you dare do it. Okay. The internet has survived. They have fought through fire and brimstone. And we are here. 2 Chaos Furies for the Menacing Platypus. Able to get on top of the Exalted Pinks. Getting some good value, actually. Getting through the shields, at least. But now they're going to be quickly peeled off. And the thing about Exalted Pink Horrors is trying to shut them down with ranged units isn't very effective because they actually have really high melee defense at 38 and are very good fighters. So like things like Furies will obviously do okay against them, but they will be a lot more durable than you would expect. So who's winning this? Hard to tell. Ulrich's up by a little bit of value, but it's kind of a negligible amount. One objective here in the middle is held by the forces of the Platypus, and now Platypus is going to be going for objective number 3. Ulrich Rahl, though, does have the summoner's advantage, right? So he's on the back, he's defensive, his opponent's trying to spawn camp him. I remember when Domination Mode first came out, there was like people saying that spawn camping is going to be a thing. It's like, dude, like, no. Like, spawn camping is such a disadvantage. It is such a disadvantage. Like, obviously, if you're playing someone who's, like, brand new to the game, like, yeah, you might be able to spawn camp them, but if you're playing someone who's even equally skilled, like, it's just such a disadvantage. Unless you're trying to stuff them in the deployment zone to hold the objectives, which is a very risky playstyle all in itself, right? Like any other RTS game, Warcraft 3, StarCraft, if you had someone of that equal skill disparity, right? Like, to the point where I could spawn camp someone in this game, if you put them in Warcraft 3 or StarCraft, they would be dead in like a minute or two, like straight up. Like, they would just lose their first couple units and get wrecked in like most RTS games, right? Now, looking around at Platypus, blues and pinks, the cultist is still very much alive. The shields have regenerated. Ulrich Rahl kind of getting pushed back a little bit still. The Platypus's Forsaken build, obviously quite menacing. Oh, but this is why. Ulrich was saving up for some big, thick Chaos Knights. Yeah, they're pretty cool. Colors of the rainbow. And those Chaos Knights are going to be searching across, looking to hammer into the blues over here, perhaps. There they go. And yeah, that Chaos Knight might be the clincher type unit. 2 objectives, I think, going to be taken. This back one is easily going to be going to Menacing Platypus. I wouldn't hate Platypus to send a blue to objective number 1 as well and try and get that going. But yeah, these Chaos Knights are going to be incredibly tough to drag down. Incredibly tough. They got 60 models, they got Protoss shields, their life for ire, and now they're going to be moving in to probably plow these guys down. In response to this, the Menacing Platypus does summon in some of the Screamers. They are anti-large and armor piercing. Obviously, they don't want to fight Chaos Knights like head-to-head, but if they like attack Chaos Knights while they're busy doing other things, that's going to be a very, very different picture to say the least. So on the other side of the battlefield, blues being summoned in by the Platypus, hearing the telepathic advice, going to be moving over to grab objective number 1 and 2. And Ulrich Rahl is falling behind on points. Ulrich looks like he's going to be kind of regrouping his forces here. The Chaos Knights, I believe, are pulling back. Yeah, they pulled back here. And there's going to be some sort of a Searing Doom going down here, which should do some good damage. And for Tzeentch, it's important to spam those cheap spells, like, and try and do magic damage, because that's how you fill your army ability, right? So we got 2 pinks here. Is one of them a summon? No, it looks like they're both actual pink horrors here. Those Chaos Knights, though, man, they are going to be a big problem. They are going to be a big, big problem for sure. So here they come. The first of the blues are going to get run over by the thundering charge of Tzeentch. Tzeentch doesn't actually have Lance Knights, do they? No, Chaos Undivided does, but yeah, these guys only have the Sword Knights. Kind of interesting. I wonder why they didn't get Lance Knights. I mean, I feel like Tzeentch could figure out how to make a lance, right? You know, like he's obviously one of the more intellectual gods, I would imagine. And now the back cap is going to come in as well. I mean, Ulrich is playing a very dangerous game. He's like value trading, but he's not like quite wrestling the objectives. And Platypus is going to get ahead really quick on points. Maybe to the point where he could win on like, you know, a triple cap here. Or just win with a single cap. Because the back one's going to be taken. More Forsaken coming in from the spawn. Pinks are shooting into the Chaos Knights here. And where are these Screamers? Okay, the Screamers are still, I think, kind of up in the sky. Or no, they might have overextended and got melted. Nice Cascading Fire Cloak on the Screamers. Gives them AP damage and also a little bit of melee defense. And here comes the Chaos Knights of Tzeentch. So now they're going to be playing the objective. We get more and more Furies coming in from Ulrich, and in the back we get Furies as well as Forsaken. So it's kind of that point in the game where it's like you need to be fast, you need to be furious, and you need to definitely get some fast units to the objective and try and hold them. I think for Menacing Platypus, you're obviously going to start losing on value here against the Chaos Knights in the more entrenched position of Ulrich. But if you are able to just hold the objectives for long enough, I think there's a chance he could win. So pouring Forsaken on and these infantry, which are relatively tanky. I mean, they have low melee defense, but their armor is good. And Protoss shields, of course, are very nice. Oh, the Tzeentch army ability going down. Nice one right there. That is going to be clipping a lot of Ulrich's army. That was coming from the Menacing Platypus. Now in the back here, we do have some shooting from the blues. We have the blue duel, the blue man group. And Ulrich Rahl, I believe, only sent one blue, and nice play by Menacing Platypus, just such good awareness. So these Chaos Furies of Tzeentch are going to be landing on the blues here, which means that this whole like gambit here of sending those blues to wrestle the objective is going to be favoring Platypus. Meanwhile, the Platypus is still holding the middle objective. And this engagement's going to go to Ulrich, but Ulrich is down by a lot of points right now. But currently, Ulrich Rahl is going to be getting a lot of extra value. You can see he's getting 24 value per second, so 24 supplies, whereas the forces of Menacing Platypus are getting a little bit less. Value's kind of evened out a little bit. We do get some Forsaken from Ulrich Rahl coming to the back objective, and now these blues are going to be forced off. So Ulrich can definitely get back in the game here. Can definitely get back in the game. And I do think that's one aspect of domination mode that probably needs to be reworked a little bit, like the reinforcement system, because you can be losing on value and like your opponent, it only matters about the points on the board. I think like value needs to be taken into account somehow. It's a little bit hard to say, but Menacing Platypus is going to be sending some Forsaken to the side objective, trying to wrestle this one back and make sure to hold on to the two objectives. This is definitely triple cap territory. So what you probably do if you're Platypus is like kind of feign as if you're going to be going after this objective here. And where are the blues at? And where did those blues go? Do they just like run away here? It's hard to say. I think we got some Forsaken looping up and around here, but I think you just got to Helm's Deep on a back objective here because Ulrich is slowly going to be pushing his way up. Slowly going to be pushing his way up. So Tzeentch has 3 army abilities. One regenerates ones of magic. It's your lowest one. Your second one is like a single entity sniping ability, which is designed to kill heroes, characters, those type of things. And the third one is a big AoE bombardment. Really nice Plague of Rust from that Herald. The Plague of Rust has been doing so good this game, because now Platypus's Forsaken are going to get torn to shreds by the ones of Ulrich, because they have no armor, right? Blue's going to be shooting into Chaos Knights. These Chaos Knights have been just an unholy terror, and will continue to reign and do a lot of work. Objectives, still going, 2 of them still going for Platypus, but holding them is going to be tough. Yeah, Platypus is going to go for this back objective now, which I think is a decent play. If these Forsaken can get there before the objective is captured, that would be a huge power play for sure. And then Helm's Deep on that back one. Although it is very close to Ulrich's spawn, I think it's probably your best bet. So the Forsaken are almost there. A little bit of a mistake. Ulrich could have like roadblocked them on the side to probably get the capture on this, but now they're going to get on, and the capture weight is going to be changing. Menacing Platypus is going to be screaming in there with the Chaos Furies, going after those bad boys. And let's see what fights. He teleported without the blues. Got it. Maybe trying to get a little refund or something. Yeah, overall, Cascading Fire Cloak and Flaming Sword of Ruin going down and being fire damage over here. Pretty nice. Kindle Flame also procs to give the 20% damage buff to the entire army. And now, yeah, it's Helm's Deep time, boys. It's Helm's Deep. 4,270, like. And I love the swarm of blues coming over, because they are really tough to remove. But this is very close to being captured, actually. There's going to need to be a couple more units. I think if Ulrich actually manages to capture this objective, he might straight up just win this right now. And the back objective still belongs to Tzeentch, the Platypus. But there is a chance that like some units could swarm over there, maybe try and ninja the middle, depending on the overcommitment and all that. And the Forsaken dominate the Forsaken of Ulrich Rahl. And now they rush into intercept. You need to get these on the objective. Oh my god, don't do this to us. I want a close game. Get the blues up on the objective right now, because the other ones are going to swarm in. That is a lot of capture weight. You need to get on that objective. Cultist of Tzeentch still riding around. I don't know if he has a blue summon in the back pocket, but yeah, both players are all hands on deck, just trying to get on the objective. You need to just get bodies on there. You need to get bodies. Ulrich Rahl with the Cascading Fire Cloak from his own Cultist. And both sides just trying to get dudes on the point. Now, is there going to be any treachery from Tzeentch? 4,500, guys. This is really close. Yeah, he needs to just pile everything he can on that. Everything. Fire everything! Fire everything! Oh my god, dude. This is such a tight game. Is that going to be a Tzeentch army ability? I think it's Flaming Sword of Ruin. Yeah, very nice. Infuse fire damage. And yeah, look at this. Platypus is getting a bunch of units on. Oh my god, his final transmutation here. We do have it on the spell roster, but is there enough winds of magic? That could be a huge winner. Guys, it's really, really close. It's a 200-point game. He's getting 5 per second. Is anybody going to go for the middle? Oh, the middle. The middle. If the Platypus starts sending units to the middle right now, that could be a huge, huge big brain play. I might be a little bit hard to see. Flaming Sword of Ruin, good shooting coming down. The objective is being held by Tzeentch. Guys, it's a 100-point game right now. 100 points. And on the other side, are we seeing any summons? What's coming in? Currently, it looks like Menacing Platypus is banking about 800. Maybe 2 blues to the middle would be like a huge big brain play. But he's still holding it. He's got a lot of blues on the objective here. Guys, 70 points right now. Ulrich is getting very, very close to capturing this. These units need to force path onto the objective. It is very, very hotly contested. And it looks like he's just throwing everything he has at this back objective, including some Chaos Knights. No, those are Ulrich's Chaos Knights. Okay, now the objective is being taken, but look at that. The Platypus wins, just barely. Oh my god. What a stressful game that was. So that was a classic case of stuffing somebody in their deployment zone, getting the objectives, and just like holding on for dear life at the end. Oh my God. What a match, dude. What a match. Crazy, crazy game. The Chaos Knights were pretty metal. Dude, I love that. Oh man, that was really close. So the Platypus goes up 2-1 in this best of 5. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the next game, which is going to be the Broken Lake Gully. The Broken Lake Gully is here. Demir, we're going to play Dawn of War 2 tomorrow. Oh my God. That was such a good game. Yeah, the current factions feel a little bit bare compared to 2. I agree. Everybody agrees, man. We're all waiting. Dude, what a match. What a match. That was a really exciting one, man. That's like showing what domination like can look like. Yeah, really fun. So, will the Menacing Platypus close out the series? We'll find out. It's going to be great. You didn't think Zeke should be able to win that one. Yeah, that was crazy good. That was crazy, crazy good. Carrot Shell says, I'm finally starting to get into domination games. Yeah, right on, man. The mosh pit at the end. Yeah, absolutely. A Nurgle mirror? Oh, I don't think so. I think that's more like Void Lulls and Even Stars thing. They just like to pick mirrors every game. Granted, we see that here as well. It's mainly because there's only so many competitive factions. Like, Cathay is kind of like putting herself at a disadvantage, and so is Nurgle. So you kind of like... But in best of 5, you run out of your good factions, you know? Yeah. All right, one sec, guys. Just doing that. Very cool. And we're all set. Yeah. I wish Dawn of War 3 had been a good game as well. Absolutely. It had potential. I enjoyed it at first. I mean, I think it had some Haggard elements to it, but I think in Dawn of War 3, if they had like actually added more factions in, I think people might have given it a chance, but Relic abandoned it pretty quickly. Hey, Six Sweetness, I'm glad you enjoy it, man. I'm glad you enjoy it. Dude, that was really close. That was a really, really close game. So, are we going to see a dreaded Nurgle mirror match in the end to decide the fate of the old world? Okay, so the picks are going to be Ogres and Slaanesh for Platypus. Oh, Platypus hasn't played Ogres yet. Ooh. Ulrich, do the Chad play. Pick Ogres. Or pick Nurgle, excuse me. It's going to be Khorne. Okay, so Khorne versus either Ogres or Slaanesh. This should be interesting. This should be interesting indeed. Alrighty. And it's Khorne versus Ogres. Wow, Platypus has Ogres on this matchup. It's pretty hard for Khorne. But, I mean, I think if anybody knows how to deal with it, it's going to be Ulrich. Ulrich, I think, plays a lot of Khorne. So, we'll see what happens. I kind of want to host CPay says pretty quickly is an understatement. They abandoned it within a week. Yeah. I wonder, did Dawn of War 3 actually sell well or did it not do well? The Dawn of War 3 campaign was just so terrible. It was just the worst. Yeah, it was just absolutely terrible. Yeah, how could it not have Chaos? Yeah. I feel like Chaos should, if they had launched with like 4 factions and then like had added a new faction within a month, man, that could have been great. Yeah, so Ogres versus Khorne. I'm curious. I think Alric will probably just go with like a Spawn Halberd Rush maybe, or is he gonna... Nah, I don't think you can do that actually, because Maneater Pistols will just rip that build apart with an Iron Blaster. It's like, you're gonna feel really bad. Yeah, you're gonna feel really, really bad. Yeah, Creative Assembly needs to make us a good 40k game. They're the chosen ones, man. Like, man, we rarely get good 40k games. Most of them are just so terrible and like are done by like really, really, you know, kind of low effort projects. I don't think it sold well considering all the negative press about it until release, yeah. Yeah, I'm really shocked we haven't seen Kislev today. Kislev is like a powerhouse faction. But, you know, I don't know. Maybe people are, you know, you have to remember that, like, a lot of the factions that are played depends on who makes it to the grand finals, right? Like, certain players, like, usually specialize in 3 or 4 factions, and Kislev might not be one of them. So it's kind of rolling the dice. Although in other events, we have seen Kislev as well. When the Winged Lancers arrive. Dawn of War 2 is really fun in multiplayer, dude. I'm addicted to it right now. Because there's so many, like, little things to learn and, like, micro tricks, and, like, I'm having a really fun time exploring it. Plus, I'm a diehard Warhammer 40k fan, so for me, it's like, Like, a lot of people were asking me, like, oh, if you like Dawn of War, why don't you play Company of Heroes? Well, I will play the new Company of Heroes when it comes out, but, like, I love Warhammer 40k. So for me, it's like, being able to have those units is, like, really fun. Yeah, it's really, really fun. From what I know, Dawn of War 3 flopped and released very broken, unplayable. Yeah. Yeah, it's rough. If Relics just, like, let modders have, like, the ability to do whatever they want with Dawn of War 3, like, I feel like we could get some cool factions and stuff added in. But yeah, apparently it was really restrictive in terms of, like, its modding capabilities. All right. So here we are. It's going to be Scarbrand with an Exalted Bloodletter, triple halberd, and some corn dogs against a very, very meta Ogre Kingdoms build. Triple Maneater Pistol as well as an Iron Blaster. I can tell you from experience, that Ogre build is such an unholy nightmare to play against. It is so unfun to play against. I think Maneater Pistols need a cost increase, and obviously Iron Blasters are going to be getting nerfed, but I don't think there will be anything pertaining to the Maneater Pistols. Lincoln says, I lost 4,000 points worth of orcs and 2k of nids in your move. Oh no, Lincoln, how'd that happen, man? Did you have them in, like, the moving truck and they just, like, flew out the back or something? Or did you just, like, lose them in the... Dude, that's rough. Dude, if I lost my armies, I'd be so bummed. There's so many memories, too, with my 40k armies. Like, my wife and I used to paint together all the time. We still do every now and then, but, like, we used to paint a lot. So a lot of the minis we painted are, like, we painted together. Like, so there's a lot of memories with them. All right, so it is going to be Scarbrand the Exiled, Fleshhounds of Khorne. More and more halberds. Life is good. And looking at the Ogre army, very simple, very straight to business. You pretty much bring everything that's good against Khorne and just bring more of it. If you could bring 2 Iron Blasters, you would, but you can't. Like, honestly, I think if you were allowed to bring 2 Iron Blasters in tournaments, you'd probably see them just not bring a Slaughtermaster and bring like, another Iron Blaster. And then Khorne would just, like, be crying in the corner. They just disappeared into the warp. Dude, that's such a bummer, man. Sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear you lost your minis. So Iron Blaster shooting into the trees, taking some shots at old Scarbrand. He definitely needs to just hide on the low ground right now. Yeah, he does not want to be over here. As the Chungus Kingdoms move up, they surge around. Going to be controlling this objective. Yeah, Khorne just falls back here, really. Scarbrand, you know, he's trying to hide in the trees, but, you know, he's a big boy. He's certainly a thick boy, and yeah, he's gonna have problems here. As that Iron Blaster is obstructed right now. Okay, here it comes. Should be able to juke some of those shots. Looks like the Iron Blaster shot's going into the Exalted Bloodletters. It's really weird seeing a Khorne build that isn't using Cultists, right? So big damage on those bad boys. We get the Halberds moving up. I think Khorne is just going to go for a stuffing play, just like try and push the Ogres against the ledge here and just maybe Leonidas kick them off the side. That was such a cool scene in 300. Yeah, so he's going for a stuff play. So he's using the Chaos Warriors to hold 3. He's going to grab the middle probably and just try and push the Ogres back here for as long as he can and win on points. Which is something you see a lot in this matchup, because it feels virtually impossible for Khorne to actually kill those Maneater Pistols and catch them unless your opponent really messes up. Like, you know, overextends them or lets them get surrounded by, like, corn dogs and all that sort of stuff. Templar Knight says, I love to play my Thousand Suns. Yeah, no, playing against Tau is not fun. Tau is just horrible to play against in tabletop right now. I had a friend of mine who I just got into 40k, and he built a World Eaters army, which, poor soul, they're so outdated and terrible right now. But he's like, oh yeah, my first game in my local store, I played against this, you know, I think it was like a Imperial Guard player, and he's like, it was really fun. And then his second game was against a Tau, like a sweaty neckbeard Tau player, who just had the sweatiest, most neckbeardy army you can think of, and just literally tabled my friend, like killed every unit of his by the second turn. And I was like, yeah, that's not fun at all. That's just not fun. Yeah, man, that's like the stuff like that bums me out. Like, the game has so much potential, but yeah, that's just always how it is, isn't it? Nothing's ever like nothing. They just don't make things like balanced anymore, right? Yeah, just throw the wild shit out there. Yeah, that's a shame. But the battle's underway, and some of these brave doggos, I'm not sure what they're doing. They're going free willy here. And these corn dogs are going to be moving back in the Maneater Pistols, and they're going to get absolutely crumped. But they do shut down the shooting for a period of time. Exalted Bloodletters move in, and Scarbrand the Exiled just going beelining for that big boy in the back. Looks like he's going to be jumping actually on the Maneater Pistols. More corn dogs in the back. We're able to circle around here, and they're going to be coming back here and looking to jump onto the back of the Maneater Pistols. So corn dogs are there, but the problem is corn dogs lose a lot of those engagements. Chungus Kingdoms are getting some pretty massive value, and the objectives are now open, but for some reason, the Halberds aren't capturing the objectives back here. I feel like you really, really need to get those if you want a chance of winning this. But Scarbrand will be good against the Maneater Pistols if the Iron Blaster didn't just turn around and like one-shot him, which is certainly on the field. Exalted Bloodletters of Khorne doing good. They farmed 82 kills, which has activated their Hellblade ability, so now they're going to be getting permanent damage. And marbles, it did happen to me as well, and also to one of my friends. But he lives on the East Coast, so it's, yeah, I wasn't there to witness that happening. Yeah, imagine daring to have fun. No fun against Tower Custodes right now, which is no fun. Scarbrand a little bit trapped up, but at least he's like fighting something that's like decent value. The Cornate Infantry are in okay fights. Like Exalted Bloodletters do have 50 weapon strength and should be able to cut through some of these units with a little bit of halberd support. Khorne still hasn't captured an objective though, which is certainly making me a little bit nervous. We get some halberds moving around the back. I'm not really sure what they're hoping to accomplish. I think grabbing the objectives would be smart because like now the ogres like have the objective advantage and also are probably outvaluing you pretty hard. Scarbrand is just being circle beaten by some ogre bulls, and you know also the man-eaters have amazing armor piercing and melee, so they can certainly put some hurt on him. And the other man-eater pistols should be able to shoot some Overwatch fire in. So Exalted Bloodletters still fighting, 6 leadership. Let's see what kind of value they got. Probably not that much. Yeah, about 400. So that's a little bit of a shame for a 1200 gold unit. But the ogre bulls here do get the Bull Gorger, giving them some melee attack. And Scarbrand, yeah, just getting blasted in the face while halberds and corn dogs move in. Like, I think this playstyle certainly can work, but yeah, you got to go for the objectives. And honestly, it's just a really tough matchup. I've seen it won before by Khorne, but it feels really, really hard. So, hey, at least we had our climactic game for the last one. But nonetheless, guys, here a big round of applause for the Platypus, winning the series 3-1. And that is going to be glorious victory. The Platypus is going to be taking over the number 3 spot on the leaderboard, if I'm not mistaken. Or at least we'll be tying with Zyphos. I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to take a look at that. No, that was definitely not a disconnect. No, Platypus. That was... Platypus is asking, did he disconnect? I do not think so. Game was basically over. GG. Update score. Alrighty. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be a victory. Let us go ahead and make it official for the Platypus. And find the old bracket. You guys ready for the massive technology? Look at this. You ready? Oh, I got it the first time. I didn't have to adjust it. I didn't have to hit the arrow keys. Champion to the people, I say. Dude, so many tournament players disregard objectives. It's definitely partially the case. I feel like with Khorne against ogres, you can't take them head on, so you have to play the objectives. Because the best opening against ogres, I think, is double cultist to stuff them back. So you waste summons to keep them at bay while you capture the objectives and get ahead, and then you turtle. And though they're going to be shooting you, you bring in shielded warriors to hold the objectives and things like that. Like, it's winnable for Khorne for sure, but Ulrich just his execution there wasn't the best. All right, so let me go ahead and see if this has been updated. Yeah, Platypus did great. And look at that. Time to take a look at the old leaderboard. And look who is in the top 3 of the Total War Warhammer community circuit. It is going to be the Platypus coming for blood with an 85% win rate. Check that out, man. Solid play. 6 wins and only 1 loss. Platypus is the best mammal confirmed. It would appear so. So Platypus will be winning the first place prize for today. And then Ulrich with a 10-3 record, very respectable, 76% win rate on the number 5 spot. Zyphos has been moved from the top 3, despite a very impressive week 1 performance on our tournament circuit. Pretty exciting stuff. Very good. You know what I'm thinking I'm going to do? Instead, I think at the end of each season, I'm going to invite like the top 8 players on the leaderboard for a tournament or something like that. I think that's how we're going to do it. Like, we had the ECL format, which was pretty fun, but I think this is also cool because it rewards like the ladder or the tournament participation. And yeah, it gives people time to develop like a repertoire of work. So I think like ECL will be kind of restructured, where at the end of each season, we invite the top 8 players from the leaderboard or something like that, and then we have a tournament that way. And that's how we'll do ECL, which will be pretty rad. So maybe I'll just start naming my tournaments like, you know, Pro League or whatever. I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right, guys, that's it. It's really hot in my room right now. I'm sweating, so I'm going to go outside, hang out with the lovely wife. Thank you guys all so much for joining. Congratulations to the Platypus and Ulrich and all those who made it to the old top 4 and everyone who played. It was super fun. Falcon is giving everyone a head start on the leaderboard. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, which is good. But again, just want to thank you guys for joining. Wookiee salutes you, Platypus. And we'll be back tomorrow with a stream. Tomorrow we're going to have a video going up for Total War Warhammer. I have a really fun Ogres versus Ancient play on land battles, actually. And then we're going to be playing some Dawn of War tomorrow on stream. So should be quite a bit of fun. I'm very hyped for that. And aside from that, thank you all. Appreciate you. Thank you for the support. We got some new members. Thank you guys, some donations. Very, very generous stuff. Hope to see you guys signed up for the next one. I'm going to be, Anticity, man. Time to grind. If you get a tournament win, it like instantly jumps you to the top 8 Anticity. So it's very, very doable. And for the grand finals of each season, I'm going to try and get some big sponsors to have the prizes be like in the thousands, you know? So it's a little bit more heavy duty. I think it'd be fun. Because for Domination, like I like the idea of like high stakes tournaments for Domination better. Professor Pone, he's number 14 on the leaderboard right now. Out of, let me see how many people are on it. Checking. 192. There's 192 players right now who are signed up on the website. But yeah, I'm going to try and get some higher stakes events. And what I was going to say is like for Domination mode, I think it's a little bit better for high stakes tournaments because it's more of a fair game. In land battles, having to police attacking rules and like all that kind of stuff is an absolute nightmare for a high stakes event. So I think this is going to be like what I'll do for the high stakes tournaments and all that. Faction wars will continue to be in land battles though. I think it's very thematic for that. And also we're going to be getting our patch soonish, right? In like the next 2 or 3 weeks, which will be most likely changing the Domination starting fund. So it'll be more similar to land battle. So I think that'll pull a lot of people in. Yeah. All right, guys. GG, well played. We'll see you next time. That is it. Take care of yourselves. And thank you all for watching.